TV ASL Season 8 Expansion.
Alright, hello guys, welcome to ASL Season 8. Last weekend we saw some less popular players making some great upsets, so you can never judge a book by its cover. And today, before we kick off tonight's games, we have the 4 players here for the SKSL segment, and they are from Group C. The 4 players are Jae-dong, Snow, Zealot, and Jae-hoon. Hello. Hello.
장윤철 선수 안녕하세요.
Hello, Snow.
와, 이번 시즌 힘들었네요.
You've had a very arduous run in the qualifiers.
여러 번의 예선을 거쳐서 결국에는
You've had several qualifiers and you ended up making it out in the Busan qualifier.
24강에 오기까지가.
Why was it so hard?
보여주실까요?
Could you hand over the mic?
네, 일단 제가 요즘 밀리를
First of all,
잘 안 했어요.
I haven't played melee much
잘안 해가지고
these days,
카트랑
and you know I've been playing Car Rider
게임들을 하다
and
보니까
other kind of games.
가더라고요 부산을.
So then I ended up going to Busan.
오늘 다시는 부산 가기 싫기
Today
때문에
I never want to go to Busan again, so I'm gonna try hard.
길을 돌아서 오셨기 때문에 굉장히 새로운
You've had a
각오로
long
오늘
run
경기에
all the way
임하시지
here.
않을까 생각이 듭니다. 또 2시즌 연속으로 이번
And
시즌까지 함께하고
it
계신
is your
선수가
second
있죠.
consecutive
이
appearance in the
전략가로도
ASL.
손꼽히고
One of the
있는
best
서은진
Zerg
선수인데요.
strategists.
자, 24강 이번에는 또 본인이
It is Zealot.
롤모델이라고 말했던 이재동 선수와 같은 조에
And you're now located in the same group as your role model, Jae-dong. How do you feel?
옛날부터 우상이었던.
Well, he's used to be my role model from a long time ago. It's a big honor.
이제 우상은 이제 과거에는 우상이었지만.
Well, in the past he used to be an honor, but now he's a contender,
오늘 좋은 모습 보여드리도록.
and I'll try to show good performance today.
굉장한 표정까지 경기를 좀
Very nice
기대하게
to hear
만드는
from you,
표정인데,
Zealot.
자, 이재동 선수와도 인사를 좀 나눠볼게요.
Now let's speak with Jae-dong.
서울에서 딱 한 번만에 예선을 통과하셨잖아요.
You made it out of the Seoul qualifier,
쉽지 않았다라고
but in the finals you had a
말씀하셨더라고요.
pretty hard
자,
time.
오늘 경기 앞두고 계신 소감은 또
Ahead of
어떠신가요?
today's game, how do you feel?
일단 제가
First of all,
다른 게임을 좀 많이
I've
했었어가지고.
played a lot of various titles these
쉽지
days.
않을 것 같아요. 예선도
No,
쉽지
I don't think it's
않았고,
gonna be easy.
24강도 쉽지 않을 것
The
같아요.
round of 24.
오늘 대진은 좀
it's gonna
어떤
be
것
hard.
같으세요?
What do you think about the group?
그나마 다행인 게 테란이 없어가지고
Well, one fortunate thing is there's no Terran in this
그나마
group,
다행인 것 같아요.
so I think that's a really fortunate thing.
저그 두 명에
So
관한
there's two
이야기도
Zerg
잠시 후에
and
이재동
two
선수와
Pearls. We're gonna
나눠보도록
talk about that
하겠고요.
soon.
김태원 선수와도 인사 나눠보겠습니다.
Alright, let's talk to Jaehoon now.
ASL 시즌 3 이후 약 2년 만에
After
이렇게
ASL
팬
season
여러분
3,
앞에서 현장
it's been
경기도
2 years
앞두고
since you
계시잖아요.
last
지금
made it
긴장은
here.
안 되세요?
Are you nervous at all?
항상 올라왔던 곳이어서
Well,
그런 긴장감은 사실 없고
I'm not really that nervous. I've come here quite often.
하는 대로만 하자. 약간
As
이런
if I just play as
편하게
usual,
생각하고 왔어요.
I should be fine.
대기실에서도 제일 편하게 계시더라고요.
In the lobby, you looked really
네.
relaxed.
항상 올라오면 올라갔어가지고
Well, you know, if I made it to the round of 24, I usually made it further.
풀어가시지 않을까 하는 생각이
So I
듭니다.
feel at
자,
ease.
그럼 팬분들이 전해준 질문
Alright, we have
한번
gathered up some
전해드려볼게요.
questions from the
장윤철
fans
선수와 얘기
to ask you
나눠볼까요?
players.
자, 좀 걱정하시는 듯한
Okay,
뉘앙스의
this is for
질문이
you, Snow.
올라왔습니다. 이번 시즌 다를 거라고 호언장담해놓고
This season you
그리고
made a
이틀
bold
전에 개인
statement that
방송에서
it's gonna be
새벽
different
6시까지
this
레이싱
season.
게임 하는 것을 봤다고
But,
이건 자신감인지 자만인지
you know,
하는
we've seen
질문이
you play
올라왔습니다.
different games until 6 a.m.
그거는 또
Is this confidence or overconfidence?
방송이 살아야
Well, I
연습을
mean,
하고 그러잖아요.
streaming-wise, you know, I need to
피치 못할
play some
사정으로
entertaining
한
games on
거지.
stream.
또 제 리그 준비는
But
똑바로 해왔습니다.
my league preparation has
옆에서
been
이재동
prepared
선수가
really
고개를
well.
이렇게 끄덕이시면서 굉장히
Oh,
공감한
Jae-dong,
듯하는
you're saying
뉘앙스를
that you're agreeing with him
보여주시는데
right now?
평소에 다른 종목의 게임들도 굉장히 즐겨 하시잖아요.
You know, you play
네,
play
말씀 좀
different games
전해주시죠.
usually,
자, 좀 팬들의 기우이지 않을까 하는 생각도 들어요.
and the fans
이재동
are
선수의
a
생각은
little worried
어떠세요?
about you playing different games.
어떤 게요?
다른 게임을 하느라 연습을 좀 게을리하는 게
Did you lack
아닐까
practice
하는
because you were
이런
busy playing other
팬들의
games?
생각이 좀
And
기우이지
that is
않을까
the
하는 생각이
fans'
드는데
worry
이재동 선수의 생각은
right now.
어떠세요?
What's your opinion on that?
이번에는 그래도 충분히
Well, this time,
밸런스 있게
No, I was able to balance out my
갑자기
balance out my
해명
games.
하시는 것 같은데 네, 장윤철 선수와 계속해서 얘기 나눠볼게요.
Alright, let's continue on the talk with
앞서 드린
Snow.
질문의 연장선에 있는
Okay,
질문인
this
것
links
같습니다.
into the previous
김윤환
question.
선수와 랜드크를 자주 해서 실력이 떨어지고
You are
있는 것
seen
같다고
playing
느끼는
use map with
분들이
calm often in your
계신데
stream,
본인도 느끼고 있냐는 질문을
and you feel
남겨주셨네요.
that your skills are degrading.
근데 이제 실력이 떨어지는 거는 뭐 랜드
Well,
때문이 아니고요.
The skills degrading are irrelevant to use map.
좀 게을리하고 다른
I've
사람이 좀
just-
열심히 해서 그런 거고.
Just been lazy, you know.
랜드크도 스타기 때문에
And I believe
김윤환
random
선수가 또 그런
ability
명언을
craft
남겨줬죠,
is
지난
a form of
시즌에.
StarCraft,
하면은 실력이 늡니다.
and if you play it, your skills
자, 장윤철
definitely go
선수도
up.
이번 시즌 A에서 좀 높은 곳에 올라가셔서 김윤환 선수의 이은 좀 랜드크 관련 명언을
I hope we
좀
can see you
남겨주시길
further into the
기대해보겠습니다.
tournament
자, 서문준
and prove
선수와
that
얘기
random ability craft is a
나눠볼게요.
form of StarCraft.
시절 2명의 프로토스와 2명의 저그가 있는데
And there are
어떤
2 Protoss
분석전에 좀
and
중점을
2
두고
Zerg in the
계시는지.
group C.
근데 뭐 당연히
Which
첫
race did you
상대가
have your focus
프로토스기도
on?
하고, 네, 저 입장에선 제가 적으니까
From my perspective,
한명 상대하기 때문에
I'm
프로토스
versing against 1 Zerg and 2
워낙
Protoss, so it's
전략적인
obvious that I'm gonna
선수인데
prepare
프로토스를
for
준비해 왔다고
Protoss.
하니까 양옆에 계신 프로토스 선수들의 표정이
The 2
좋지만은
Protoss
않아요.
players are
평소에
not
서문준
feeling
선수의 게임
well
스타일 어떻게
from your
보세요?
statement just now.
무섭죠. 네.
You know, definitely
토스
scary.
입장에서 뭐, 근데 토스가 원래
Well, Protoss,
저그들을 무서워해야 돼요.
you know, they
아마추어는
have to be scared of Zerg.
상관없이 무서워요.
It's like the counter matchup.
김재훈 선수는요?
What do you think,
네,
Jaehoon?
원래 사실 저그가 상성이다 보니까
You know, Zerg
그냥
is the counter to
히드라만
Protoss,
좀 뽑아도 좀 사실 좀 빡세거든요.
so it's really hard to win
그래가지고
against them.
그거를 좀 잘 알고도 뚫리는 사람이 많아.
You know, we always struggle.
장윤철 선수가 유독 좀 저그 선수들을
And
무서워하시는
Snow,
것
you are
같아요.
also
아무래도 최근에 좀 저그 좀
renowned
많이
for
도전을
being scared of
하셨더라고요.
Zergs.
기록을 보니까.
그쵸. 원래 0%에서 지금 한 12% 됐을 거예요.
네.
이번 시즌에
This
20%
season,
만들어 놓겠습니다.
I'll try to make my win rate against
기대하겠습니다.
Zerg way more
자,
higher.
그러면 또 다음 질문인데
Alright, the next
서문준
question.
선수의 별명이 뭐 서문 타짜,
And Zealot, you go by many nicknames
초보
for
아티스트,
being very famous at
정말
variety of
올인 전략을
all-in
구사하시는
tactics.
서문준 선수이기에 붙은 별명들이죠. 서문준 선수에게 올인이란?
What does all in mean to you, Zealot?
저를 이 자리에 있도록 만들어준
All in.
생각합니다.
Maybe the man
자,
made
과연
me
이
the
대답이
man I
오늘
am
경기에서
right
또
now.
어떤 의미심장한 대결로 이어질지 궁금해지는데
Alright, we'll look
이재동
forward to your
선수한테 얘기
match today.
나눠보겠습니다. 이 질문이 나올 거라고
Right, this
생각을
question
했습니다.
It's for you,
제
Jaydong.
개인 SNS를 통해서도 제보가 하나 들어왔어요.
Okay.
이재동 선수의 개인 방송 클립
We have a
영상이었는데
news.
제가 보니까 솔직히 너무 길다라는 말이 정확히 한 5번
And
정도
Jaydong, you've
반복이
complained that
되더라고요.
SKSL time
자, 지금
takes too
오늘
much.
제가
It takes
굉장히
too much of the
스피디하게
time
진행하고 있거든요.
of
좀
the
느껴지세요?
ASL. Do you still think the same?
제가 오늘 평소보다 말이 굉장히 빠르고
And you know the announcer is
빨리빨리
speaking
진행하고
really
있는데
fast
혹시
today.
여러분은 느껴지시나요?
And do you guys feel the same?
이재동 선수 어떠세요?
저 그냥 한 말이었고요.
You know, it was just a rant. Nothing special.
인터뷰 하는 게 중요하고.
Interview is very very
그냥 한
important.
말이었고.
And it was just very.
편하게 진행해 주셔도 될 것 같아요.
And I think yeah, I think it's a great interview.
제가
You don't have to
이재동
rush it.
선수를 비롯해서 정말 모든 선수들, 시청자분들까지 마음에 쏙 드는
And I hope this
방송을 만들 수
SKSL
있도록
segment
계속해서
is useful to the fans and the
정진하겠습니다.
players.
정진할게요.
네네.
Okay.
자, 다음 질문인데요.
Alright, next question.
이 김재원 선수는 또 SK ASL에서
This one is for Jae-hoon.
처음이시잖아요.
And this is my first time
어떻게
seeing
어떤
you
느낌이 좀
in
드시는지
SKSL.
궁금해요.
How do you feel?
뭐 지루하다거나
Is it boring?
길다거나
Or too
뭐
long?
편안하게 의견을 말씀해 주시면
You
될
can
것
be
같아요.
comfortable with your answer.
지금 제가 이렇게 인터뷰하는 걸 사실 본 적이 없어요.
Well, I've never seen this kind of segment before.
그 인터뷰하는 거 사람들도 듣는 거 좋아하니까.
So I guess
괜찮아
the
보이는
fans
것
love
같아요.
interviews.
제동이도 아까
So I think this is very
중요하다고 하는 거
entertaining.
보니까 중요한 것 같아요.
And yeah, I think it's very entertaining.
오늘따라 굉장히 긴장이 되네요. 자,
I'm
이재동
feeling
선수의 다음 질문입니다.
kinda nervous?
프로토스는 한 끼 식사라고 또 얘기를 했는데
And
오늘
Jaydong,
프로토스가
you
두 명이나
describe
있네요.
Protoss as a piece of cake. What do you
네.
think about that?
아직까지 아주 맛 좋은 한 끼 식사라고 생각을 하시나요?
일단
Well,
예전에는 항상 그렇게 생각했었는데
before I used to always think like that,
최근에는
but
제가
recently
좀 기량이
my
좀 떨어져가지고
skills have degraded.
지금은 그 정도까지는 아닌
And
것
now I
같아요.
wouldn't describe them as a piece of
세
cake.
종족 중에서는
But,
제일 편한 게 프로토스.
You know, in the three
또
races, I
24강
think
이재동
Protoss is the
선수는
easiest
거의
to deal with.
100% 통과를 하고 있기 때문에 뭐 이런 우려도 좀 팬들의 입장에서는 기대감으로 바뀔 것 같고요. 김재원 선수께 질문 드리겠습니다.
Okay, a question to
대각의
Jae-hoon.
김재훈이라는 말이 있을
Jae-hoon, you're
정도로
often called
대각선
the
스타팅에서
diagonal
강한 모습을
master.
보여주는데 특별한 이유가 있을까요?
You tend to be stronger
저한테
when
잘
the
맞아요. 네,
starting
그래서
positions
일단
are
좀
diagonal. Is there a reason for it?
게임으로 치면 좀 유리하게 갈 수 있는 약간
Well,
그런
definitely,
자리다 보니까 저한테
I
좀 잘
tend to get the
맞다는 생각이
advantage
들고
when we are
오늘은
situated
사실
diagonally.
제동이랑 1경기에서 붙는데 그 대각선 걸리면 좀 안 좋거든요. 그 맵이.
네.
And you know,
오늘은 약간 좀 대각 좀 피하고
diagonal, like
김재훈
for some maps
선수에게
it's
좀
useful, for
기대하고
some maps
있는
it's not that useful.
경기력이 확실히 있나 봐요, 팬들이. 다음 질문도 좀 그런 질문인데요.
Okay, the next
김재현
question.
선수의 리콜이 그립다. 비록 테란전은 없지만
And people
이 팬인지
are
아닌지 살짝 좀
people want
의심스럽긴
your recall
한데.
back, and you know you have been
자,
very
김재현
famous
선수의
for the recall
리콜 오늘 볼
back
수
in the
있을까요?
days. When are you going to show your recall?
아니요, 그 사실 저랑 좀 잘 안 맞는 것 같아요.
And
항상
recall
보면은.
is not
네.
really that suitable.
하면은
with me.
그 이제 병력도 되게 조그마고 제가 하면은 잘 안 맞아서
So I don't feel like the
네.
recall tactics that viable
오늘이
anymore.
아니더라도 볼일 좀 없지 않을까 생각.
So I don't think
아니,
the fans will
장윤철 선수 왜
be
이렇게
seeing it
웃으세요?
anytime soon.
장윤철 선수는 이 김재훈 선수의 리콜에 대해서 어떻게
And Snow,
생각하시는데요?
how do you rate
한
Jae-hoon's recall?
네다섯 번 돌려봤거든요.
I've seen it a couple of times, like 4 times, 5
정말
times.
예술이에요.
It's a beauty.
아티스트다.
네.
His recall is
자,
a beauty.
알겠습니다. 좀 짓궂은 질문에도 이렇게 즐겁게 답변해 주셔서 다시 한번 감사드리고요.
Okay,
오늘 좋은
once
경기
again, thank you for your
기대하겠습니다.
candid
여러분.
answers.
감사합니다.
And congratulations.
자, 이렇게 해서 24강 C조 경기를 앞두고 있는 4명의 선수와 함께했고요. 과연 오늘은 어떤 선수들이 16강에 진출할지 경기를 통해 확인해 주시기 바랍니다. 지금까지 이영경이었습니다.
Welcome to the ASL. You just watched Ask ASL. The question arose, is it too long, is it too boring? As far as length, I would say too long because we ran out of background music before it was even over.
That's a feat. I don't even think ASL has ever run out of background music. Some of the games here are actually very long. So, yeah, we're just breaking all kinds of records here. Also, I feel like the questions revolve around like girlfriends playing other games and memes no one understands. So, you know, there's a whole lot going on in that segment. But, you know, we've finished that. And if you really want to appreciate the greatness of that, then I guess you can rewind and watch it all over again. Or we could move on to actual StarCraft, Artosis.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Let's do that one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's a cool group today. It's a very interesting group today. We have two highly aggressive Zergs, one of which is a legend, one of which is kind of still an amateur.
He's a legend in his own way.
Kind of, yeah. If you're deep in the Brood War,
if you just watch a lot of streams, then he's probably your guy.
He's pretty well known. Let's take a look at these groups first, real quick. Of course, Tuesday we'll be back with Sulky Ample Action Oregon. That is an amazing group for me.
All of these, like, I don't think there's one group that has a player that you could say, well, you know, guaranteed he won't get out, because already we've seen some pretty crazy upsets. I was almost sure Soma was going to make it out of Group A, and so you really can't count anyone totally out.
Yeah, especially as we move forward here. Like, there's definitely underdogs. So, like, for instance, today, Jaehoon seems like a pretty big underdog to me right now. But, like, for instance, that last group, oh, my God. JYJ, Light, Best
I actually think
Miso.
JYJ could absolutely make it out of that
absolutely. He's in great shape. But here's our players that we have for today. Of course, Snow had a hard time going through the qualifiers, whereas Jaedong did not. Zelot, this is his second ASL. Very aggressive Zerg. And Jaehoon, he made it into KSL, if I'm recalling correctly. Yeah.
So he made it into the first season of ASL way back in the day. So like 5 years ago, basically. Not that long ago, but a pretty long time ago, and 5 seasons ago. And he didn't look that great. He won a tiebreaker kind of thing to advance on to the round of 8. But that was when we only had a round of 16, so it looks a lot more impressive, him making it to the round of 8 a long time ago. And then you're right, he played in KSL under the name Bermuda because of his Bermuda recall.
Oh, yeah. And here he is.
He's
like,
back.
yeah, I'm changing my ID to Bermuda. And then what do we see here? We see his old ID back.
Tell me more.
I swear to God.
I just want him to rename to Eyewater also for some reason.
There used to be these big meetings in the professional StarCraft scene out here. And they were like these Kespa things where they would take all the pro gamers, sit them down in a room together for like a whole day and give them lectures about various things, like the ways to act in certain things. I feel like all these guys need to sit down with me for some branding lessons. But that aside, listen to this music.
Yeah, this is Padawan Mate. If you've ever watched that, it is probably not worth watching, but it has music that speaks to Snow. I feel like
what
we
is
should
it
also
about? I have never even heard of this.
I don't know. I just read the Korean.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know exactly why you would pick this, unless maybe you just really like carnival rides.
Right? It must be some sort of meme.
He's just like a carousel kind of guy, I guess.
Yeah. Well, this might be very funny to people who know what that is, and I'm gonna hold my breath.
If you're one of those people, then maybe you can tweet at us. Otherwise,
if you qualified for ASL, what would your background song be?
Man, it would be the intro song that we have for GSL. It'd be Code by Breathless and White.
Oh,
it's like the sickest song. I listen to it all the time ever since BK picked it for GSL.
Oh, that's cool.
Very good.
I think I would use Toby Keith's "I Want to Talk About Me."
Not Extreme Ways by Moby.
This is a good song, but no. The meme potential is too hard
the
for
5
the
other
Keith
people
song.
out there that have ever listened to Moby are also really happy you picked that one. Also, maybe if you're like a submarine captain.
If you've ever seen a movie, you've heard this song, man. Come on.
I'm digging it. Okay, so Zealot's ASL record is, not stellar. He has won a game, so that's more than I think most people could say.
Oh, yeah.
But he hasn't really done a whole lot. Last time he played against Best and Mong, and Best is obviously like one of the best players in the world. So he also had a hard group then. He's got a pretty hard group today, but it's not undoable.
It's not undoable. Yeah, like I think he has potential to beat everyone in the group. So. And he's gaining a lot of stage experience as well. He does super well in amateur tournaments. He's getting an ASL twice in a row. So when you line all that up, it's, he's not one of these players where I feel like the lack of experience is going to just insta-kill him, which sometimes happens.
Right. There's this little tiny hyperbolic time chamber of amateur tournaments out there that a lot of amateur players like Zealot play in. Crush, I know he's done very well in ACS as well, which is sort of the predecessor to ASL. It's how a lot of players...
It's the amateur
StarLeague, right.
However it's called. But yeah, he's getting his tournament knocks in, you know what I mean?
For sure. He's super crazy good in any of these like open online tournaments that have like a few Koreans and non-Koreans in them. He is, just very, very skilled. And like they mentioned in his interview, he's kind of known as this great tactician, which is kind of a nice way to say that sometimes he plays just very aggressively, but he's also more than capable of playing the long game. And for Snow, I think a lot of people kind of pigeonholed Snow as that guy who's really good at PvT, but really bad at PvZ. But I don't know, do you think that's still true?
No, I think he's actually filled himself in really well, but I guess we'll talk more about that in a moment. We're getting into game number 1 on Multiverse.
Now playing in Multiverse.
Yeah, I just said that.
Or as the Korean says, multi-bus, which is like a lot of buses all together.
Right, we have Snow over on the left uppish side.
And Zealot down there, right beside him. They call it Jaehoon diagonal toss because apparently he does very well in cross positions. But this is about as uncrossed as the positions can do. Can be like the closest by air spawns.
I can do.
Well, that's actually the UK way to say it. I cast enough with kicks that like every time I say, yeah, he will do, I'm like, oh no, that's not something I say.
So, what you were saying I think is true. Snow has really fixed up his PvZ dramatically. He's so much stronger now. In the matchup, it's just fixed. You know, we've seen it in KSL quite a bit. We've seen it in ASL, especially that whiteout game against Sulky. If you haven't seen it, it's my favorite PvZ of the last 2 years, easily.
I think people came into that group that you're talking about, and they're just like, okay, well, you know, I'll come here and it's going to be fun. But it was actually very, very good.
An amazing day.
One of the days that you can really point at to say, okay, Snow's the real deal. So that's an old picture of Into the Rain, one of our Korean ASL commentators, in case you guys were wondering.
Yes.
He's got some sick memes from way back in the day when he used to play.
Yeah, he was actually a very strong pro gamer, and he was kind of the first guy really utilizing Psystorm to a high potential, and you might look at that and be like, oh, that's stupid to say that. But actually, no, that's how old school he is, that like it was Into the Rain. If you saw an Into the Rain game, you're like, oh my god, Psystorms are everywhere, this is crazy!
No, he was the guy way back in the day, so I'm nice to see some fans recognizing the OG. But I mean, just to kind of talk about the opening builds here, overpool, I guess, from Zealot.
Yeah, very safe opener here from Zealot. Snow sent 2 probes, which makes me think, oh, there's some sort of possibility. Maybe he's thinking about cannon rushing in case of, you know, a hatchery first or something. But since it's overpool, it seems unlikely, to say the least.
Yeah, one thing you can do if you do... I'm not sure why you didn't try to block that hatchery, but I guess still wanted to get in and see the timings in the main. Yeah, I think this map specifically, because of the way that the gas geysers in the middle work, they make it very easy to fast expand if you have the ability to like run around with Zerglings and wall that off early on.
Wait, sorry, my brain just completely froze.
So when you kill the assimilators, it forms like an artificial kind of wall that you can make.
Yes.
And obviously Zerglings are one of the last few things that can like fit through those. So sometimes that's a way that some players have experimented with trying to get a faster expansion.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, they're on opposite sides of that. So if you wall off the near assimilators, it actually takes so long to walk all the way around.
And as soon as you kill one, no Protoss unit can get through anymore. So definitely a worthwhile thing to do with those Zerglings. It'll just slow down any sort of attack that can really occur. Hydras can even still pop through at that point. So there's like a lot of interesting things that can happen with closing and opening these doors. We haven't seen any of that happen yet, though. We saw 2 kind of one-sided games on this map so far that ended pretty quickly, but I'd love to see a big macro game here, you know, and see what that looks like.
Well, I mean, obviously you can just cut it right down the middle, right? It's not like that's a huge mystery, although the bases at the diagonals can be really, really hotly contested, too. Because those are, you know, theoretically harder to take than all of the other ones.
Jaehoon's going to love that, isn't he? Being the diagonal toss.
Well, if in fact he is able to spawn that way, I guess we'll see. But this map is weirder for the diagonals because you can also be on the same side of the diagonal as your opponent. But I actually wonder if because they're close by air, the air will play a much bigger game, because I can absolutely imagine Zealot going for surprise mutas and trying to pick off that first Corsair.
Yeah, but it's almost, isn't it like so obvious, right?
Yeah.
Like you definitely would be very careful with that incoming, but you know, if you over prepare for it, right? You're making 2 cannons in your main, and then they aren't doing that. Suddenly you feel like a bonehead. So
A smooth brain.
yes, a banana head of some sort.
That's what you feel like, yeah. I mean, I don't think we've seen anything remarkable to talk about for really either player. There's the Hydra Den, so this is going to be a more standard Zerg game, not going for those early mutas.
Yeah, he's actually skipping the Spire, which I would say is like overpull into 3-hatch Spire into more hatches. That's the most standard.
Right.
Here with the Hydralisk Den, like this could signal towards us that we're going to see drop play coming up.
Oh, that's actually a really good point. So just in case you're wondering, the reason the Spire is a little bit more standard is because you probably need Scourge to kill the Corsairs?
Yeah. It's like if you just hatch for Scourge, you're not going to really lose Overlords. Maybe one that's near their base, but you'll protect everything else.
And if you
but
go
with
for
Hydras, it's how do you protect your Overlords? They don't actually kill Corsairs that quickly.
Well, yeah, especially considering how fast or how much earlier you can get the Corsairs across. I mean, so this is going to give him a lot of Hydralisks very early on. And yeah, I don't see this quite as much. He's done a good job denying scouting, though.
Yeah, he's doing a very good job of zoning that out. And like Zergling's speed not coming along is kind of interesting, I guess, but not the biggest thing in the world. I just wonder, like, is this just going to be a Russia drop? You can see that Snow is very suspicious adding cannons to his front.
Oh, well, anytime you get your probe denied this hard, and then you run in and see a Hydra, you should start to maybe be a little bit worried.
Well, he definitely is, and he's definitely right to be, because now he's seen a Hydralisk, and that tells him pretty much what he needs to know.
And of course, Zealot's already gone on, hidden his Overlords far away, or at least where he hopes the Corsair will not be next. And of course, going Corsairs, and one of the reasons you don't see like heavy Stargate play is because if you do that into a 3-hatch Hydra opening, you kind of fall over.
Yeah, you definitely will have a hard time holding on there. Snow is going for Corsair Reaver, which is one of his big specialties. He's the best Reaver user in the world.
Ever.
Yes, no one argues that.
Well, Bisu's in the military, but ever.
I would still say over Bisu.
Really?
Yeah, no, Bisu's a Templar guy.
All right.
But yeah, Snow is just ridiculous with it. And even in this matchup, he's shown some great games with it lately.
Well, yeah, certainly the best player, I think, in this tournament so far. I really do want to see those Reavers come out, because when you're trying to, break down the Zerg or the Protoss wall, you got to get through the outer buildings, the cannons. But if there is a Reaver, it just becomes so impossible unless you have a way to just dive on in there. And like you said, maybe we see drop. That's certainly one way to do that.
Yeah, but Corsairs are being made with this. Generally, they're made together. And look at that, he's adding cannons to the main, so he's expecting a drop. Overlord's speed is done. So again, right to expect a drop here. Feels like Snow is preparing pretty well, but does he have enough cannons?
I mean, there's never too many cannons that you can build when you know your opponent's committing to it. There's a version of this where you go for what looks like a 3-base or 3-hatch Hydra all-in, and then you pull back in macro. And if your opponent can't scout well enough, they get bamboozled. But that's not this one.
Well, these are empty.
Oh, so he's pulling the Corsairs away.
Yeah, he's actually, he got the Reaver to go towards the main base. The Reaver way out of position right now.
No.
This could cost Snow big.
It's so slow. The Reaver does have a Scarab in it, but it's a little bit too worried because the Hydras can jump right in on top of it. You can see how careful he's being. Oh man, maybe he didn't actually have a Scarab. Oh my god, that Scarab is so late. The first one does. He kills off all the cannons. No Artosis. There's not enough here to defend. The Reaver's microing. He's trying to run away, but he can't do it fast enough. And that means the Hydras will break through into the main and kill the Reaver that hatches out.
That is brutal. GG is called, and Zoa advances the winner match.
DAE Snowbat against Zerg. It doesn't matter. That was such a Gosu play by Zealot to run right by, to run the Overlords in for a fake drop.
Yes. That was really brainy because it forced the Reaver back. If the Reaver is in a sieging position with the cannons, there is no way he breaks in there with that amount of army. But Snow, he saw basically what was happening, and he got scared. He sent the Reaver back. He thought a real drop was coming, and it was a little bit of a mind game there. Good trick by Zelot.
Usually there are some tells, like the Corsairs scouting to see if anything's been lifted up, or maybe you hear the sound of a load up. And usually pros aren't kind of bamboozled like that.
Yeah, it's You know, it can be hard though. You're playing here on the stage. You've been playing Kart Rider till 6 a.m.
Oh God.
You know what I mean?
If he does advance next ASL, we're guaranteed getting questions about that.
Yeah, yeah.
But wow, Zealot really impressing. That's the kind of strategist.
Yeah.
That's the reason he has that nickname, that he's known for doing that. Really incredible play there by Zealot.
It was. Congrats to him. He goes that winner match. And, I mean, you're really seeing the Korean StarCraft scene getting shaken up right now. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, Jaedong himself against Jehu.
재미가 없으면 원래 TV가 아니지.
마지막에 우리가 잡으면 게임 세. 결국엔 우리가 잡을 수밖에 없어. 사내 셋이 목숨 걸고 게임을 했는데 끝은 봐야지.
What's inside that compound?
What the hell is that?
1,000-year army. These 1,000-year soldiers.
We're doing experiments on them. They're not our mission. We have to do this!
AfreecaTV ASL Season 8 Expansion.
All right, we are back and ready to go.
I'm super ready to go, especially because coming up next, if you thought that first Sir game got you a little bit tingly, we've got the Dong of Dongs for you in our next match. Jaedong is up against his other Jaehoon.
The Hoon of Hoons, as they say.
As they say, Artosis.
Yeah. Jaehoon, kind of famous for all the wrong reasons, but still a very strong Protoss player. Now, is he good enough to get out of this group? The thing is, the group is already on its head because Snow is a player that you expect every tournament round of 8 basically right now, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Even round of 4 I think is pretty expectable. He's gotten to the finals of ASL Season 5 where he lost to Rain, but he beat Flash going there. That's his big kind of claim to fame. But there's one other guy that's beaten Flash, and that is Jaedong. In fact, Jaedong is on a massive losing streak. He was in KSL, lost a lot. He was in ASL, lost out of the round of 16. But he lost to Flash after beating Flash, so that's a nice little asterisk to put on that.
Yeah, no, that was an insane
It was one of the best days I've ever seen.
It really was.
Fantastic.
It really was.
Everything you want from Jaedong.
Yeah.
So he changed his BGM. It used to be My Life Would Suck Without You.
Yeah. What does this mean?
I mean, I'm guessing it means League of Champions, but, you know, my French isn't my strong point there.
Well, so.
I feel like this is
kind of epic.
One of those songs that my piano teacher would try to make me play, but I would actually hate playing. Jaedong became Catholic. He's just going to church all the time.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll see what Jaedong can do here. I mean, okay, so the thing about Jaedong here that I want to talk about, right, is what type of shape is he truly in? He's qualifying for the leagues, okay?
That's right.
He did make the KSL finals last year, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But people, I feel like people both overstate how good he is and overstate how out of shape he is at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one's got an opinion that's accurate.
Read. That's
yeah,
right.
No one has an accurate read of how good he actually is.
It's impossible to be ambivalent about Jaedong. Like, you've got one opinion or the other. This is the Naruto theme song, so I'm so happy that we can have this on our show. But for Jaedong, you're right. No one truly knows except for Jaedong, and I feel like one of his main one of the reasons he's kind of been upset at the general fan community is because they really want to put him in a box, put a label on him.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of his, personality comes from being himself, and really, when Jaedong has this like X factor, this like hyper mode that he can turn on and beat literally anyone on the planet at any time. When he's 99 years old, he'll be able to somehow beat the best player in the world, but he doesn't turn that on all the time. So I don't know. That's a big question. Which Jaedong plays today?
Well, it's impossible to turn it on all the time, I think, and it's tough as well because as he gets a bit older and maybe doesn't practice quite the hours that he used to, and as his wrists sometimes have problems, I think that affects his type of style a lot compared to some other players because he's always been a decisive, leaning towards aggressive, very fast Zerg player. It's very different. Like, if he had Sulky's playstyle that whole time, I think he'd be doing a bit better now than he does. But when he nails how he actually plays and what he's good at, he still absolutely can beat everybody.
Oh, that's right. Well, we'll see if he's got his shot of MJ's secret stuff or JD's secret stuff here, because he does need that little bit of X factor, I feel like. Maybe not in this match against Jaehoon, who comes in as the underdog, like you said, known for all the wrong reasons. He's known for dyeing his hair. He's known for missing recalls terribly. He's known for recalling observers. And I'm just like, well, none of that's that great.
The only known failure of a recall on the record is his.
Let's see if he can do it as he faces off against Jaedong in Game 2.
Now playing in Multiverse.
All right, so on the same side of the map.
But also on different sides of the map, Artosis.
Yes, that's true.
But as far as the wall in the middle goes, they're on the same side. But they are technically diagonal-ish.
Ish.
That's right.
I feel like what is meant by it, that if Jaedong was like top spot is where Jaehoon might gain power. But here, like, if you're both on this side of the map, on the same side where you don't have to screw with the simulators at all, and you're not close by air.
Oh my God. That is an esports relic right there. You could make an esports church with that shirt.
God. Needs to go in the esports museum. But yeah, it feels like the map is a lot smaller when you spawn like this, you know?
It sure does, and especially if your Protoss opponent goes for something like a forward gateway early on, just an aggressive Zealot opener, that can really lead Dong Underwood.
The Jaedong Underwood.
Okay. I'm not up enough on my memes to really fully go in on that one. But
it's like Frank Underwood, you know?
Yeah, but he's the president instead.
Yeah, I guess so.
I didn't watch the last season, so I don't know. Has Jaedong pushed reporters in front of a train? I'm not sure. That's the only thing I remember from that show.
Yeah, well, I'm not up to date either, I guess. But okay, regardless, excited to see like if Jaedong can just smash his way out of this group. I think it's not very simple. Oh, look at that. That's super cute.
I'm a pro, but I can block things off without building them. I love it. The tearful tears of glee streaming down Jaehoon's face for a brief moment until Jaedong becomes able to do anything, and he potentially falls over.
Look at this. He actually just lets it finish. No problem. Going to be very annoying here for Jaedong.
Yep, pretty committed to this. Obviously, denying Zerg an expansion for any amount of time is pretty rough. especially when they go things like overpool, because that's supposed to be kind of the safe in-between build.
Yeah, right. And now he has to wait for so long to get that hatchery up, which obviously there's some lost mining time with both of these drones as well. Oh, that was a beautiful drill right there to just kind of slow him slightly. But, you know, this reduces the overall amount of larva and things like that as well. So I would say that this is a very good move by Jaehoon.
Yeah, and in some ways you might be thinking, okay, this will force him into at least those 6-lings early if he wanted to go for like a more economic play style. Obviously, this really throws a wrench into that.
Look, he's even harassing the drones quite a bit, so definitely causing some lost mining time here. The hatchery finally goes down for Jaedong, but that is extremely late.
I'm surprised he didn't actually just try to block the hatchery again. I mean, I get that there's Zerglings out, but like just to be, you know, super annoying. But hey, there are Zerglings heading out across the map. I don't know if you need to pull maybe one more probe there. I'm just so scared when I see only one cannon and any number of Zerglings on the other side.
Yeah, right. Seems like he'll be safe for now. You can always get your probe base.
Famous last words, Artosis.
Yeah, right. But I feel like Jaehoon has a great opening this game. Like everything is looking good for him right now. Now, Jaedong going to go ahead and expand way across the map.
Right. And I'd be almost surprised if he doesn't try to like knock down some of those assimilators either. Also, this is especially because of those semi-walls, the doors that you can close but not open. That is a great way to maybe involve airplay or drop play later on, especially if we get to like phase 2 or 3 of the matchup. Because obviously, initially, as a Protoss, you kind of have to worry about scouting for all of those crazy all-ins like we saw from Zealot.
Yeah. Ooh,
okay.
Hydralistan come up right away. Now, what's interesting about this to me is how far away that third hatchery is. So if you're actually going to 3-hatch Hydra him, first off, your second hatch is a little bit late, right? So that's going to throw you off a little bit, right? As far as, like, I guess it's ready for when the Hydras are there, but your economy's not exactly the same as it would be. But this hatchery is so far to rally Hydras from.
Perfect scouting by Jaehoon. He really sixth senses that. And by that, I don't mean that he was dead before this group started, although maybe that's an appropriate part of the analogy.
Yeah, he seems, in my opinion, he's the underdog, even though some people might put him above Zealot, but
not a Bruce Willis kind of underdog, but close. Catching this probe, though, it would be a big deal, because even though he scouted that base, he doesn't know what's coming out of the larva, and that's the important part.
2 Zealots coming across, so these are actually going to give the really important intel to him. You know, the Zerglings are probably going to want to try to intercept these, but where are they going to go, actually? Imagine if they go towards the top, and maybe the Hydras just pass them by.
I mean, I feel like you don't really pressure a base with 2 Zealots. Obviously, it would be something that Jaedong would have to deal with, but if he's just going to go try to kill you, then you would die. So,
do you see this? Okay, so the probe dies, and the Zealot's actually turned around.
Ooh.
He doesn't know that this is coming at all. If those Zealots had actually pushed, he would have had some time to build cannons.
Okay, there's still only one cannon there.
He's just going to die.
If you want to ask me how many cannons or he needs, the answer is more than one.
More than one.
That's
is the right
not
answer.
A cannon, Artosis. That's a pylon.
Holds it easily. What?
We just know nothing about this game.
I don't know what's going on.
I'm going to err on the side of he doesn't hold this easily, Artosis. Moving forward to try to snipe that cannon. There's a couple more on the... Actually, there's only one more cannon on the way. The only cannon goes down. He's fighting with probes, Artosis. He only has 1 Zealot left.
Yeah, this is looking kind of bad, but a good surround right there. Not the best micro from Jaedong during this. Hard time getting that cannon down quickly. The Zealot doing its best to be a hero. The probes out here trying to hold on while the cannons warp in.
And probes, man, nothing fights quite better than probes. They're doing such a good job holding off those Hydras, but warping in cannons dies so fast.
It's silly.
Oh, 1 Zergling got through. That's so huge. Another cannon's about to finish, but even that dies so quickly. He can't buy a cannon like a vowel, and it's just everything's going to die here. There's nothing left. Jaehoon types out, and the one true J will advance.
One true J.
That's right. There can be only one.
JJ.
He's like the Highlander J.
All right. He's looking good. I mean, both these games very fast. Both these just ending with Hydra Bus. Very different Hydra Bus. You know, it's unfortunate for Jaehoon. There was enough lings that I think that it wasn't terrible for him to move back his Zealots because he's probably going to lose them. But if you don't get up there and pressure, then you just he didn't have the intel, right? He just did not know that was coming.
I think it seems to be the theme of today, right? Is Zerg players being a little bit too crafty for their Protoss opponents. And also, make sure you build enough cannons at the front.
Yeah, well, you never want to overbuild, but underbuilding's even worse.
I feel like you die sooner if you underbuild than if you overbuild.
That is a fact.
We could have bought a few extra seconds of playtime there. That's going to do it for our winner, for both of our initial matches. Coming up next, we'll have our winners match between Jaedong and Zealot, so don't go anywhere.
한짠한 함성으로 1세트 대결이 시작됐습니다. 터집니다. 이쁜 쪽으로 병력 보내고 있어요.
일단은 빠르게 지금은 뭐 캐논이 완성되기 전 타이밍을 좀 노려서 상대방에게 지상 쪽에다가 압박감을 좀 가하게 되면은 입구 쪽 캐논을 어찌됐든 강제하게 되는 상황이 되니까 이후에 어떻게든 좀 부유하게 운영할 수 있는 운영의 발판을 마련할 수 있게 되는 거거든요. 사쿠 현재가 애초부터 좀 동선을 잘못 잡은 이런 그 경향도 좀 있었고 드라군까지 아이고 와 프로브를 또 잡아버렸습니다. 죽더라도 프로브 잡으면 그만큼 시간 끌리는 거니까.
그렇죠.
이런 드랍 플레이가 꽤 많이 나올 수 있다면
반은
각각한가지 한기 준비해 놓는 것이 좋을 것 같습니다.
네.
자, 그러면 얘기해요. 자, 이제 옥저버 소리 쪽에 지었고요 한 방울.
네. 반응이 좀
매우 싸네요.
예.
템플러 3기였다면 이거 무조건 깔끔하게 막았어야 됐거든요.
그렇죠. 뭉쳐서 지금은 오는 상황이었었는데 상대방이 머리 위쪽에 드랍이 되는 그 순간에 이제 스톰을 사용을 하면서 스톰의 효율성도 대단히 떨어졌습니다.
네, 넥서스 지금 깨지고 안쪽에서 많이 흔들리고 있습니다.
네.
템플러까지 정리가 돼서 이병렬 걷어내는데 시간이 필요해요.
초반에 좀 압박감과 부담감을 많이 갖고 있어서는 그런지는 몰라도
와.
너무 이도저도 아닌 플레이가 지속되다 보니까 뭐 장점이 보이지 않았었던
취재 첫 번째 경기 먼저 이몽규 선수 승리를 따냈습니다. 상대방의 의도 이 견제까지 완벽하게 들어맞고 확장까지 저지하며 승리를 따냈어요.
네.
경기 시작됐습니다. 멀티버스예요.
움직임으로는 다소 벌점 3팩토리에서 벌처를 꾸준히 뽑는 그런 빌드가 있겠죠?
네, 추가 팩토리 좀 올리고 있어요. 유영진
공중상의 거리는 가깝지만 자 베럭스로 일단은 한번 견제를 하면서 출발을 했었는데 그로 인해서
유영진
머신샵을 달지 않았기 때문에 좀 하나를 더 뽑은 이 벌처 때문에
아니 원샵 지지 말라고 한 건
본인이면서
그렇죠. 윤창희 선수였는데
자신이 온다고 했어요.
우와
페어로
수리의 힘.
야 견제와 동시에
싸우고
위에
마인은 물론
돼 있거든요.
돼 있긴 합니다만은 아래쪽으로 지금은 어그로가 좀 끌리는 상황이기 때문에
시즈 모드 닿지 않는 공간에서 내려주면서 일단 환경을 쓰이게 만들었습니다. 이러면서 수비와 함께 동시 확장 자체가 안 되고 있거든요. 자원이 없는 것도 아닌 유영희 선수인데 말이죠.
스캔 찍어봤죠. 네.
자, 들어가는
드라이브에서
이게 지상 쪽으로 풀어서 빨리 올 수 있는 지역은 아니거든요.
먼저 내렸습니다.
네.
자, 이 부분을 좀 걷어내야 되는 상황이거든요.
그렇죠.
자, 위치 잡아버리고 좀 3개.
네, 여기는
일꾼까지 놓아놨는데.
네, 서플이 더 많이 몰려 있고 아머리도 지금은 있는 상황이라 탱크 위치 위로 살짝만 바꿔도 지금은 되는 계속 이제 공격을 할 수 있는 지역이에요.
그렇죠. 위에서 병력 내려오면서 위치 잡고 있고 일꾼이 꽤 상하긴 했어요.
근데 뒤에서 지금은 걸어와서 자, 탱크로 대응하고 있었습니다.
이런 부분도 이영호 선수에게 좀 받았던 교육과 어느 정도 이어졌어야 되는 건데 지금 같은 경우에는 빠르게 병력 위주로 좀 시선을 보여주면서 위쪽에 있었던 탱크들이 좀 더 빠르게 내려올 수도 있었습니다.
좀 빠르게 들어갑니다.
본진 쪽을 좀 흔들어 놓으니까 여기가 아까 여기 수비 라인이 견고하게 그 자리에서 움직이지 않아도 될 만한 상황이면 굉장히 안전한 이런 그 멀티였었겠지만 지금은 가장 안전하지 않은 멀티가 되버렸어요.
그렇죠. 한 군데 흔들어 놓은 이후에 자, 여러 방향으로 들어가서 좀 견제를 합니다.
네.
대치하고 있는 병력들이 어느 쪽이 먼저 썩어버리느냐의 그런 차이였었거든요.
지금 일꾼이 굉장히 많이 상했어요.
네. 앞마당도 지금은 상했고 지금 한시 쪽으로 수비했던 병력 있죠. 요거 건너가서 본진 쪽에서 한참 동안 지금은 농성해야 됩니다.
자, 바로입니다.
네.
여기 드랍시 와서 이 병력 머리 위쪽에 지금 내릴 준비하고 있거든요. 이 병력 맞추면 안 되거든요.
네,
성난 피해를 입혀야 되는 입장인데요.
자, 여기는 시즈 모드 하고
SCB 붙이고 그다음에 생산되는 병력으로 수비를 하게 되면은 할 수 있죠. 앞마당에 SCB가 싹 쓸렸어요.
인구수 격차는 2배. 2배로 벌어졌어요.
네, 상대방의 자원은 11시 지역 쪽에서 좀 돌아가고 있는 상황인데 오히려
네.
센터가 들려서
취재 유영진 선수 굉장히 좀 빠른 드라이브로 상대 흔들어 놓고 승리 따냈습니다. 와, 한방 카운터 제대로 날렸어요.
AfreecaTV ASL Season 8 Expansion.
Welcome back to the ASL. We
awesome
have
StarLeague.
Yeah, the Zergs so far are beating the Protosses. It feels like the old days, which it hasn't felt like in a long time because this has been the year of Protoss.
That's right. Yeah, it was Oops All Protoss at the end of KSL and GSL, and basically every game that has a Protoss in it was doing pretty well. But now you're right. We have maybe fewer Zerg players, but it does seem like they're doing a little bit better, due in part to some crafty mind games. But this is a ZVZ, and there's very little ways to pull the wool over your opponent's eye in a ZVZ. Just somehow Jaedong does it, though.
Well, I mean, Jaedong is probably the most monstrous ZVZ player of all time. Yep. He doesn't quite have that same standing right now in ZVZ, and obviously a player like Zealot, I always feel like the aggressive Zergs are slightly favored in ZVZ because the matchup oftentimes favors aggression.
Yeah, we like to say proactive.
Proactive.
Yeah, there you go. If you're one of those, if you're good at building your pool on 9, then there you go. You're gonna be killing it.
Speak of the devil, Zealot's good at that.
He is quite good at that. Well, all right, we are getting into our winners match, and one of these players is going to be advancing out of the map, or out of the group. Let's find out who it's going to be. Agent K versus Agent J. Let's get into it.
Right.
Now playing in Neo Sylphid.
Ooh, it just sounds so sultry when Max says it. All right, we got equal cheers, but kind of for different reasons as we get into this. This is, it looks like Zealot, the white Zerg at the 12 o'clock. Oh, wait, no, that's...
Yeah. No, you got it.
Okay, yeah, Zealot is the white Zerg at the top. And then the other, it looks opposite on my map for whatever reason. But that is Jaedong in the red. And like I said, I think people are fans of these players kind of for opposite reasons. They're fans of Jaedong because he has always been great, or he's been great for a very long time back in the day. And people are fans of Zealot a lot because he's a very popular streamer. He's an amateur player who's like really starting to defy the mold, and that's, you know, really resonating, I think, with a lot of fans.
Yeah, and it's kind of neat as well because he is, you know, cheesy, I guess, is a decent way to put it.
Proactive.
He's definitely, yeah, no, he's a go-getter as far as the game goes, but he's super aggressive, right? So it's exciting to see him rise up. He's also a very, very nice guy. I've talked to him at quite a few of the qualifiers and stuff. Just very friendly, has pretty good English and everything. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping to see him do well.
Yeah.
Now, not at the cost of Jaedong, of course.
That is true. Jaedong is a precious national treasure that we must protect with all of our lives and energy. So we're cherishing Jaedong here. But for Zealot, I mean, that would be the storyline, right? That would be one of the biggest upsets I think we could have in ASL is Jaedong versus Zealot, an amateur versus one of the legends. But obviously, like you said, it's always hard to pin where exactly Jaedong is as far as the skill level is concerned.
Sure. Well, he looked fine that last game, but he didn't show a whole lot. Now, it looks here like we're going to have an 11 hatch going up against a 9 pool. I mean, I'm a little bit nervous, but Jaedong is a player that knows in every situation what he can do to come back. So it's an 11 hatch 10 pool. So, like, that's one of the main things you want to look at as well is, like, when they go for the hatchery, how many drones are they making afterwards, right?
Right.
Because if they, you know, if you make any drones after that before your spawning pool, that's even slower Zerglings. You're in even worse shape. But as far as the builds, I believe Zealot should be pretty well favored here.
Jaedong's getting super lucky in that the Overlord Scout is not coming his way first. It went to the wrong direction. So even though by process of elimination, Zealot knows where Jaedong is, as far as being able to deal damage with Zerglings, he's a little bit behind on that. So Jaedong, I guess sort of the way that you pull the wool over your opponent's eyes is by trying to get your spawning pool as late as possible. and squeak in like any little tiny extra drones that you can. But as you can see there on your screen, our observers highlighting the layer's already on the way for Zealot, and Jaedong hasn't even started his.
Yeah, and he won't either. You know, he's going to go for Zergling speed first, like 100%, because the only way I think he can really take this game is by getting a Zergling advantage, right? So let's see what he can do. He does have the extra larva from the pool. He's bringing his drones down. He knows that he has to fight with his drones some. He can't lose his hatchery. Losing the hatchery is the same thing as losing the game.
Now, you don't want to fight too quickly. You want to wait until the hatchery has absorbed as much damage as possible. Oh, losing that early drone is not good. Hatchery now in the red, drilling through the Zerglings. The drones are pretty low, but Jaedong's got lings of his own. And it looks like even though there's drone casualties going down, the hatchery will hold.
Yes, this is so important. Let's not forget, he has speed on the way. He has 2 hatcheries, and he has enough drones to produce Zerglings with, right? So this is the game plan. The fact that Zealot, I was going to say, is he actually going to leave his base with those 2 lings?
Yeah, you got to put up a sunken right now because if Jaedong died or lost his hatchery right there, then obviously it's huge for Zealot. But now that the reverse has happened, the shoe is on the other foot, and Zealot has to hold on against these speedlings.
Yeah, well, he's sent 2 out, so those are counterattack lings, but I almost feel like he doesn't need them. I feel like the only thing he needs to do right now is stop this, and he's at a big advantage, but we'll see. He's defending pretty well so far. The sunken gets up, so Jaedong can't really get anything done right there.
Yeah, that sunken is life. That's the lifeline, and now these two, no. This is how Sulky wins so many of his games. It's how a lot of tricky, sneaky Zerglings can do. Oh my god, I thought he was going to save that one, but doing his best to micro the drones, but while they're moving, they're not mining, Artosis.
Yeah, this is really painful. So the 2 counterattack Zerglings actually did a fantastic job here for Zealot. Oh my god, to kill that drone, it costs that much lost mining time.
Those are Zerglings that aren't across the map trying to kill Zealot also, so.
And as soon as he gets a Mutaman, that's the worst.
Yeah, so now mutas are going to be very very fast. Jaedong has to invest drones into building spore colonies, and that's even more drones lost. So, I mean, this is just struggle town for JD.
Yeah, it's about as bad as it really can be. So he's droned up a little bit. He is going to go into spores. I think he's realized that there's no real way to hold on here. Normally in a game like this, the defending player here, in this case Jaedong, isn't going to have much of a chance because Zealot has so many options for damage. He has so many ways to mess up Jaedong. But theoretically, over time, because you do have the extra hatchery, you might be able to do something here, right? You can get your second gas quicker. You can theoretically get more mutas, but
yeah, the reason
it's as bad as it can be.
The reason that late game ZBZ almost never happens is because this moment is so hard to balance. The defensiveness of the spore colonies versus the aggressiveness of the mutalisks. And if you are just the best at balancing that perfectly, then yeah, you can get to the next phase, but it's just so difficult.
Look at that, he's leaving a couple mutas there at home.
Ring around the drone, that's so sick. Jaedong still got that control.
Oh my god, see how much damage being done here. Now Jaedong's going to try to suicide onto some of these drones, but this is like a last-ditch effort.
A couple of them, 2 or...
I think he killed 1 drone there, didn't he?
1 or 2. We'll call it 1.5 for objectivity's sake.
But the amount of drones that Jaedong has lost, look at this supply, 10 to 23.
Oh no, and he's mining from the fringes, so that drone is totally unprotected.
Yeah, there's really nothing left here. I think we're going to see GG in a second.
Yeah, there's no way to make it into Zealot's base either.
No amount of trickery is going to solve this problem. Zealot has like infinite options. He's going to hit enough mutas to kill the spore too.
He's going to go for it, and that means that it's almost just game over. There's only 1 spore in the main, and even if Jaedong evacuates, everything there is going to die. He's going to try to rebuild another one, but that realistically will never complete. And this is the Hail Mary from Jaedong, but the spine, or the sunken colony, more than enough. GG, Jaedong taps out, and Zealot will advance in first place.
Wow, and really quickly as well. You can see just how happy he is with himself. This guy's been working hard for a long time to achieve something like this, and this is a deadly group. Snow and Jaedong are both real contenders to get very deep in this tournament, and he beats them both.
More importantly, this is the first time an amateur player has ever advanced out of their group in an offline StarCraft 1 event in Korea, I believe.
I think you're right about that, actually. I believe that all of our amateurs so far have all lost in round of 24.
Right, or
So-
round of 30, whatever the equivalent group is. They always lose in the first group. And so this is actually such a transformative moment for Brood War.
Yeah. Huge deal right now. So congrats to Zellout. We're going to get an interview with him just momentarily here. And with how giddy he looked, I'm actually quite excited to see what he's going to say.
Oh yeah, no, this is going to be amazing. What a special time as we see kind of the transition, the old legend being beaten by the new amateur up-and-comer.
All right, Andy, take us through this interview. Hold our hands.
네, 24강
All
시조
right, the
경기
Tyrant
함께하고
goes down,
계십니다.
and
시조에서도
Zealot
어김없이
is the
여러분들
first winner
놀랄
of
만한
Group C,
이변이
round of
발생했는데요.
24.
첫 번째 16강 진출자 서문준 선수 만나보겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
Congratulations.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
와, 이렇게 해서 또 모두를 놀라게
Wow,
하면서
everyone is
16강 진출을
surprised at your win
이뤄내셨습니다. 본인
today.
스스로도 굉장히 감격스러우실 것
It must be
같은데요.
very emotional
어떠세요?
right now for you. How do you feel?
솔직히 저도 만약에 올라간다고 해도 최종전 통해서 올라갈 거라 생각했는데
And you know, I saw today I would advance through the
생각지도
final
못하게
match,
좀 그려왔던 시나리오대로
but I'm
흘러가서
really
너무
happy to have
기뻐요.
made it out
두 경기
in the
모두
winners
짧지만
match.
굉장히 임팩트 있는 경기를 보여주셨는데
A
이
very
첫 번째
impactful match
경기도
today was
상대방의
shown
심리를
by
잘
you.
이용해서 또
And
히드라를 끌어내는
you are
모습
able to exploit your
보여주셨어요.
opponent
좀
today.
이런 것도 준비를 해오셨나요?
Was this all
아,
prepared?
네, 이 전략은
Yes.
같은 아마추어인 그
This build
김대현
was
형이라고
prepared
저를 많이
by the
알려줬는데
help of
그
a
형한테 너무
amateur player,
고맙다고, 예, 말을 해주고 싶어요.
and thanks to
아까
him
SK
for giving me the
ASL에서도
build.
이재동 선수를 언급할 때 굉장히 비장한 표정을
And in the
보여주셨는데
SKSL
평소에
segment,
롤모델이라고 생각했던 이재동 선수를
you know, you mentioned that Jaedong is your role model,
지지를
and you
받아낼
beat
때
him today
그때의 심정은
and advance
어떠셨나요?
into the round,
아 진짜
advance into the next round.
이재동님이랑 게임을 해본 적이 거의 없어가지고
I've never really
오히려
played against Jaedong,
게임을 많이 알면
my
스타일
life.
알기 때문에 힘들어서
and you know,
안 해본 사람이랑
I
하는
usually
게 더 자신 있었는데
like figure out the enemy's
지지 받아낼 때
play style after playing against him.
자,
And
이렇게
today,
해서 ASL
it's
9
fortunate that I
시즌만에도
won
이렇게
against him
16강
today.
대열에 합류하셨습니다.
And now you
앞으로가
go on
또
to the round of
시작이라는
16.
마음을 가지셔야 할 것 같은데요. 각오가 어떠신가요?
How determined are you
아
today?
이제 아마추어로서 이제
As an
ASL
amateur,
첫 16강 진출이라고
It's my
알고
first
있는데
advancement into round
저
16.
말고도 이제 많은 아마추어
And there are lots
선수들
of other
잘하는
amateur
사람들이
players
많거든요. 이제
in
아마추어에
the round of
대한
24 apart from me.
편견 같은 것좀 버려주셨으면
So I hope they
좋겠습니다.
can
되겠습니다.
really perform
네,
well
서문준
and hope the
선수가 그
stereotype
편견을
kind
깨는
of goes
주인공이
away.
되길 바라면서
Once
앞으로의
again,
ASL
congratulations
시즌
on your
기대하겠습니다.
advancement.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
자, 이렇게 해서 C조의 첫 번째 16강 진출자 서문준 선수와 함께했습니다.
All right, we're going to head out to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
재미가 없으면 원래 TV가 아니지.
마지막에 우리가 잡으면 게임 세. 결국엔 우리가 잡을 수밖에 없어. 상해 셋이 목숨 걸고 게임을 했는데 끝은 봐야지.
What's inside that compound?
What the hell is that?
A 1,000-year army.
These 1,000-year soldiers.
We're doing experiments on them. They're not our mission. We have to do this.
AfreecaTV ASL Season 8 Expansion.
Welcome back. We just had Jaedong lose in the winners match.
Yeah, I'm having to expand my mind to really take that one in. Obviously, Jaedong, the legacy player, but really crazy moment that we just got a chance to see. Fortunately, Jaedong did lose, but he's going to be waiting for the loser of this match, or the winner of this match, I guess, because this is our loser match, which means we have to say goodbye to one of our players.
Yeah, that's right. Snow versus Jaehoon. You'd really expect Snow to be able to take this, but Sylphid is a flat map. This is PvP. There's a little bit of rock, paper, scissors going on with the build orders, right? 3-gate Goon versus Observer versus DT.
But it's not like we're playing on Gladiator with pizza wedges. So.
Yeah, it's not quite Gladiator, but it's close enough to Gladiator that we're still going to see, you know, a little bit of that at play here. So, like, it's a good map for upsets is what I'm trying to say.
Well, you know, Snow has, I think, a 66% win rate PvP in spawn matches right now. He's been beating all the top players, including the only Protoss ahead of him, Best.
Does anyone play TVT spawn matches?
No. So Flash, in the last 6 months, or in the last month and a half, Flash has played 0 TVT spawn matches.
Yeah, so who's paying Snow to play PvP matches?
Dude, you just got to get more of that PvP match.
Well, here's the thing.
Best mirror matchup.
It's just, I guess everyone plays Protoss, so they want to see how to play it, so they pay Protoss players to play that. This is a shocking thing to me.
What do you do with your money?
When I asked you if anyone played TVT spawn matches,
you knew
I already
the
pretty
answer.
much knew.
Right.
Because I can never find a TVT game to save my life rapid. Never. Never.
Well, the game is ready, so we won't find one today. Maybe later, Artosis. Let's get into Game 3.
Fight.
Now playing in Neo Sylphid.
All right. We have Snow over on the left-hand side, and Jaehoon up at the top.
Well, I guess they have to spawn diagonally in a 3-player
In a way,
map.
yeah.
So there you go, Captain Diagonal.
Captain Diagonal.
Yeah. If he was a cereal, he'd be Captain Crunch. He looks like a captain. He was always known for like wearing weird stuff. They used to call him Raiden Toss because he dyed his hair like bleach white one time, and then it was bright blue the next season, I think.
Yeah.
So he was a crazy one out there.
You got to do what you got to do, I guess. The StarCraft 1 equivalent of Tails. So,
have you ever dyed your hair, Artosis?
No, I haven't actually.
Really?
I considered it a few times, but
okay.
I just didn't. No.
I've only done boring regular colors like black or something.
You got red going on right now.
It's not red. Oh my god, I'm so triggered. Why do people say these things? I'll never understand. Get your eyes checked. Oh my god. Okay, so for this game, this is the other side of the mirror matchup coin for the day. We finished ZVZ, now we're on to PvP. Yeah, it could be a little bit coin flippy, but for the most part, you start out with at least a gateway, and then sometimes two if you want to get interesting.
Well, you know, both of them should be tech amp reasonably quickly here. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a Zealot or anything like that. Positionally speaking, Snow has a better spot. You know, with the back of Jaehoon's main to Snow, shuttles can be a little bit scarier when you're threatening attacks at the front at the same time, especially. But it's really the early game that we have to look at here. What are the exact opening build orders? Is someone going to go for a 3-gate, right? That's if you have a 3-gate outside of that little choke, they can't get out very easily, right? It's not as powerful, like you said, as like Gladiator, but it is something that they have to watch for.
Yeah, 3-gate is sort of the litmus test for your build. It's like, is your build viable? Can it live against a 3-gate? Because that's just the stuff build. You know, there's not a whole lot of finesse. Obviously, it's Brood War, so there has to be a little bit. But you just, you know, me make stuff,
Yeah.
Me kill you. There you go. Your thought process.
We already went over that it's Protoss versus Protoss.
Okay. It never gets old. I
know.
It gives me life. The more stupid we make this matchup seem. In reality, they're both going for, I think, exactly the same build, or at least the opening.
The opening, yeah. The opening should be about the same, right? You get your Zealot out, you kind of need it just in case. You'll go into Dragoons from here. And you don't want to show your tech until the probe is gone, but you can't get rid of the probe with the Zealot. It's impossible.
And regardless, you have to keep your Cyber Core spinning, otherwise that's a little bit too obvious.
Yeah, that's true, too. That's a good point.
Because there's a lot of mind games you can play if you deny probe vision of your Cyber Core, because then they don't know what you're putting that gas into, and usually that means Dark Templar.
Yeah, and it's such an expensive upgrade as well. 150 is, you know, you can basically get anything started if you're not getting
You're
it.
not really going to go for Dragoon range and something super wacky.
Yeah, like Dragoon range will slow down all your tech.
Exactly.
Kind of... You know, it's just...
Oh! Okay, tell me more, Artosis.
Yeah.
Literally exactly what I said was not about to happen is now happening.
Well, well, you can do obviously range builds with that. If you've blocked the scouting though, like you said, like let's say you're on the ramp, you have a Zealot there, then you can get it so quick.
Well,
but the Robo for Jaehoon!
Oh, the smartest, most erudite Protoss out there. He guaranteed sips his hot six with his pinky out, Artosis.
If he was a Greek god, he'd be erudite. Now, look, I guess this is what happens when you play Kart Rider and then you just try to go DTs.
This is a Kart Rider strat for sure, Artosis.
Yeah.
It just makes you better at the game. That's what he was actually saying in his interview. He's like, well, you know, playing UMS keeps me fresh because no game is the same.
Okay, well, you know, a lot of people play that random ability craft or whatever it's called. It's like actually a pretty popular game. And we had this meme going on like 4 seasons ago that there was like 4 pros that were playing a lot and all of them advanced. And it was turning this kind of funny thing. I guess they've won more players to their side. Yeah, I guess.
In truth, like almost all of the Brood War I see when I walk into PC Bungs, it's couples playing UMS maps together. So it's a very popular thing to do, which is one of the reasons they stream this all the time. But the reason we're saying that he's so smart and sexy is that he built a Robo, so now he's going to have an Observer against a player that's going Dark Templar, so that's pretty good.
It's a good counter last time I checked.
Oh, also a denial of the vision there. That's pretty good, but luckily Jaehoon's already on the right path.
Now there could be, you know, we don't see the Observatory. I believe the perfectly smooth build order is Shuttle, Observer, Reaver, because the Shuttle finishes before the Robotics Support Bay, and then you can start the Observer, and that's like best for build time, but I don't believe he got the Observatory. So it seems like he's going for a Reaver-based play, which means the DTs actually still have real potential here.
Yeah, absolutely. It went from being the best way to stop this to now still completely vulnerable. And like we were saying, this is not like the super ultra fastest DT rush that you can go for from Snow, but hey, here they are.
Yeah,
now,
it's coming quick.
Yeah, if they make it all the way across the map without, you know, impacting anything, then obviously that's the most potent version of Dark Templar.
Yeah.
But Snow's army, or Jaehoon's army, is clumped up at his natural, so the DT will have to attack a unit in order to get through.
Yeah, there's a possibility though he can lure it out with his Dragoons.
Ooh.
Sometimes you can poke it and like you'll get chased. Okay, see, he's making a concave. If the DTs slip by and right-click on the Robo, that can just be a victory.
And there's a Reaver in a shuttle with no Observer at all, no Observatory at all. So Snow is really banking on the fact that there's no DTs out there.
Okay, so where are those DTs? Where are those DTs?
They need to be here.
Where are those DTs?
Oh, they're running by. If he sees the shimmer, then he'll know, but I don't think Jaehoon has any idea.
Yeah, they're going to get right in, and let's see what he goes. If he goes for the Robo and the Observer gets out, he's in trouble. If he just goes for probes, though, you might actually get a huge amount of damage here. Now, you don't hear this.
Oh, my God.
He's one-shot, so you do not get the... Oh, my God, he doesn't know.
Jaehoon has 100% not seen this.
My God, Jaehoon is in so much trouble right now, but he has a gigantic army.
And he's a Reaver and a Shuttle, the most powerful combination in PvP. I guess, you know, maybe there's others, but that's a good one.
And no detection, that's a good one, too.
That's a pretty good one, Artosis. Let's see how good these Scarabs are. They do need to fire through everything. A nice connection onto one Dragoon, but still, I think the defender's advantage will kick in eventually for Snow.
Yeah, I think you're right. Oh, my
that's
God.
so scary.
Yeah, getting the Shuttle, having to walk through there with that, that's no good.
Oh man, so he unpowered the observatory. Obviously that doesn't stop him from being able to make, oh no, so he takes out the shuttle. He's gonna take out the Reaver, and I think Snow might just have done it, Artosis.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, Rapid. Like, if he just brings his probes up, it doesn't seem like this can possibly hold.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to fight more versus less, and just funneling in single file is not the way you want to fight with Dragoons. Snow fighting, or Jaehoon fighting valiantly, but in the end, Snow will eliminate Jaehoon from the round of 24 of ASL.
Yeah, so both of them playing a little bit risky here, but the DT's slipping by, Jaehoon not noticing, right? If you notice quickly, you can run your probes around, you don't lose them all, you clean it up, you continue your Reaver push, and maybe you're okay. But you know, you don't get that warning, that verbal warning, because the DTs are one-shotting the probes.
Man, what a struggle there, because there's a fork off that build where you go for the observatory in between the shuttle and the Reaver and get that obs out. And obviously that's a little bit slower. He wanted to be kind of potent getting out there with the shuttle Reaver. But unfortunately, that is the way PvP works. Sometimes you just die.
Well, that means we get a sick match for our final match. A player that none of us want to see go home is going to go home. Is it going to be Snow? Is it going to be Jaedong?
Both of them, I think, absolutely deserve to be in the round of 8.
Yeah.
But I think for Jaedong, obviously it's a little bit more heartbreaking if he goes home. If you just talk about players that are currently very strong, maybe Snow is the player that I think we've seen do better more frequently.
Well, I mean, it's going to be ground zero. It makes me wonder what we're going to see. I feel like Snow is going to be very on top of trying to scout out any possible Hydra bus, because this map, the best way to play at ZVP, in my understanding, is that you want to do the turtled 4 base.
Okay.
Right? So is that a style Jaedong's really super good at or uses a lot? I don't think so.
I never bet against Jaedong. So let's take a quick break. We'll be back with our final game of the night.
승자전 경기 시작됐습니다. 자, 아래쪽 입구 쪽.
네.
자, 입구까지 여기는 머린 하나 끊어내고 일꾼 비비면서 블로킹. 자, 위로 들어가는 병력까지 끊어냈습니다.
네. 시간을 끌면서 상대방의 그 베럭스 양 그리고 테크 상황 이런 것들 눈으로 확인하고 싶었는데 뭐 어쨌든 저글링들 지금 찔러 넣어서 원하는 대로 확인을 했습니다.
베럭스 엠베거든요. 엠베 돌아가요.
네. 근데 결국은 저 아래쪽을 지금 바라보게끔 상황을 만들고 있었던 것 같은데, 자, 플레이그 배틀 쪽에다가 잘 뿌렸고요.
네. 이 병력까지 걷어내면서 시간이.
그래서 지금 테란이 막고만 있는 것이 아니라 수박장을 위쪽 미네랄 확장 쪽으로 넓히게 되면서 오히려 기분 좋은 상황이 만들어지고 있거든요.
테란이 배틀 다수를 바탕으로 본진 공략에 이제는 성공을 하겠네요.
뒷심이 굉장히 좋아요.
네. 배틀이 진짜 부족에 가까운 모습을 보였어요.
네.
이번 경기 내내 말이죠.
자, 인구수는 3배 격차.
네.
좀 이어지고 있는 상황이고 자원줄 박살냈습니다. 자, 세기를 받고 있는 유영진 선수거든요. 오늘 경기 움직임, 판단력, 집중력 굉장합니다.
예.
자, 패스를 터뜨리고는 있습니다만 여기 확장 하나 깨진 상황이고 제대로 돌아가는 자원줄이 취재! 유영진 드디어 해냈습니다. 지금 3시즌, 4시즌째 입상에 머물러 있었습니다. 이번 시즌 노력은 배신하지 않는다는 걸 보여주면서 가장 먼저 16강에 올라갔어요. 패자전 대결 시작됐습니다.
일단 준비는 했는데 자, 머린
들어가서
자, 벙커가 완성만 되면 되거든요.
네.
자, 빨리.
자, 더 피해를 주지 못했어요.
그래서 벙커가 생존 여부가 제일 중요하거든요.
자, 뚫어버리나요?
그냥 무난하게 팩더블을 했다면 이거 막았을 겁니다. 하지만 벙커 스타포트였거든요.
거기다가 벌처에 스피드업을 해놓고 벌처에 좀 힘을 많이 준 체제라서 다수의 어쨌든 드라군을 가지고 지금은 밀고 들어오는 거에 대해서 힘으로 대응이 안 되고 있고, 자, 마인 변수.
자, 이 변수로 지금 이 변수 걷어내야 되거든요.
예, 어쩌면 테란 대표에선 뻔한 전략이 아니었단 말이에요. 테란의 이런 빠른 스타포트 전략. 하지만 윤찬희 선수 연습 과정에서 이런 식의 그 운영 자체를 많이 했었습니다. 거의 뭐 이 벙골 찔렸다라고 볼 수 있겠고.
그렇죠. 자, 그러면서 본진 안쪽에 드라군이 너무 많은 데다가 계속해서 지금은 마인이 없는 지역으로
CJ 3게이트 드라운 작전 성공하면서 윤찬희 선수 잡아냈습니다. 16강으로 가는 최종전 대결 시작됐습니다. 저그 이몽규 선수예요. 프로토스 김범수 복수해야지 한 번 졌습니다만 한 번 더 이기면 이몽규 선수 떨구고 김범수 선수가 생애 최초로 16강에 올라갈 수 있어요. 선수를 밀어내고 있고 이것도 들어가요.
네, 깊숙한 지역 쪽에 뭐 진짜 거의 못 들어오는 타이밍에 저울링을 또 찔러 넣으면서 과감하게 상대방이 어떤 의도를 가지고 있는지
하나 또 잡았어요.
지금은 다수의 성큰으로 버티면서 지금은 다른 곳에서 자원 채취하겠다 생각이죠.
그렇죠. 지금 자원실로 들어가서 견제하고 있어요.
어차피 못 들어온다는 사실을 알고 있기 때문에 이런 유연한 플레이를 하는 것이거든요.
셔틀
들어오더라도 들어오려고 하더라도 시간이 많이 걸리거든요. 뒤에 파워타워가 몇 개인데.
저 일꾼이 다 터져나오고 있어요.
추가 병력, 추가 확장이 없는 상태에서 캐논 하나에 의존하기에는 뮤탈스의 양이 너무 많았어요.
그렇죠. 힘이 좀 많이 빠지고 있는 상황에서
하이템플러도 이제 나온 거죠.
템플러 끊어내고 이제 일꾼까지 다수 정리 자원 채취에 문제가 생깁니다.
이건 전략 컨셉도 약간 좀 부족한 감이 있어요.
셔틀 플레이 하는데 있어서도 좀 부담이 많이 될 것 같아요. 뭐 이 확장기
지금 6시도
네, 걸리면은 깨져야 되는 데미지를 입는 확장기지고.
네.
예.
제가 이거
계속 보고 하다 보니까 한시쪽 팩토리 쪽에도
CJ 이몽규 선수 최종전에서 다시 한번 김범수 선수를 잡아내고 이번 시즌 16강에 올라갑니다.
AfreecaTV ASL Season 8 Expansion.
And we're back with Jaedong's final chance to advance. He's facing off against a mainstay of the round of 8, and even maybe the round of 4. One of the strongest Protosses out there right now. Snow does not want to go home here.
No, certainly not. I think most people consider him the third best Protoss in the world right now.
Yeah, second best currently playing. Wait a second. Okay, who's better than Snow?
Rain and Mini.
What about best?
Yeah, I mean, I could go either way on best.
Okay.
I think they're pretty close in skill level. Maybe I like best slightly more, but I'm a best fan.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways,
and
he's
we're not
a top
counting
4
Bisu
Protoss.
because he's in the army. But
Yeah, no,
you're
he
right.
doesn't count yet.
For sure, top 4. I think that's pretty safe to say. He's very good, and while he might not have been good in this matchup before, I think it's safe to say that Snow has kind of patched that leaky hole in his dinghy. So for Jaedong, he has a lot ahead of him to advance. This is his final chance.
Now playing in Neo Ground Zero.
All right. Top left, Jaedong. The top right, we have Snow.
I was reading this ESPN article. It was about Jaedong when he first came back a couple of years ago, and they interviewed Flash, and Flash said something along the lines of, I wouldn't be as good a player as I am if Jaedong wasn't as good a player as he was, and that he was as good as he was because of Jaedong. And obviously, he's very talented, but that's about the highest praise I think you can ever get.
It is the highest praise you can basically get. When the greatest player of all time amongst all games in the history of the Earth says that he's that good because you're as good as you are, is like, wow, that's saying something. And it's really true. I mean, their rivalry, it definitely did push each other.
Yeah.
Even recently did to some degree, because the times that they've met in these matches, it's actually been very close.
Yeah. The last time Jaedong was in ASL, he was in a round of 16 group with Flash. Yeah. He beat Flash in game 1, and then they played the decider match, and Flash won just barely. So one of the best groups, the best series of series I've seen just ever. Yeah. And I think, imagine just having that on a Wednesday, growing up. That was just such a beautiful time to be alive. Well, a lot of fond memories of Jaedong, but this might not be one of them.
I mean, I love Snow, but the amount that I want Jaedong to get into the part of the tournament where you have to beat people in a best-of-3.
Where he can play Flash?
Yeah, that's a real possibility as well. Like, that would be amazing to see that again because, you know, obviously the military is on the horizon for both of them.
For sure.
It's getting closer and closer, and every turn they play, and we got to be like, hey, this might be their last. Like, we don't know. And the thing is, they can always come back afterwards. That's what everyone's starting to do. The rumor has it right now that Bisu's going to be back in a couple months playing professionally. So hopefully they'll do that as well. But, I mean, as of right now, this could be your last professional Jaedong game. Who knows?
Wow. Well, when you put it that way, he's even more of a national treasure that we need to cherish and protect. For right now, at least, opening builds are almost exactly what we've seen from the previous PVCs. There's just like a kind of standard way to open where the Zerg goes over pool, and then the Protoss player goes for either a gateway or forge fast expand.
Now, I like what I'm seeing from Jaedong. He only hatched 2 Lings here. So, you know, you have to make that canon anyways as Protoss because you're not 100% sure. Look, he takes the closer third base.
Okay, that's really interesting. And you know, I don't at least see too many games on Neo Ground Zero because it's kind of a map that's coming back a little bit.
Yeah. The Sim City at that base is kind of funny, I believe. I think you can't fit a hatchery in front of this hatchery anywhere. I don't think you can fit one on top of the ramp or anything. So the Sim City, I think gets funnier, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, and obviously it feels bad to expand to like the 11 o'clock base up top because, you know, obviously it's closer instead of further away.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. That might actually play into it. It's another gas base, so obviously 3-gas Zerg is exactly what you want. And it does set him up if he wants to play more aggressively, like that 3-hatch Hydra style we're kind of seeing.
Well, that's kind of the main thing I'm looking at because I know that a lot of Zergs like to take another natural here, like that bottom left natural. Yeah. And then they can get into the 4-base turtle style, but that's not really a style that Jaedong is known for, right? That's more of a larva or a soul key type of thing. Jaedong is generally a bit more aggressive than them, so
a bit more aggressive, but he also like forces micro challenges. Like he just wants you to have to control any situation as well as he does.
Yeah.
And in general, that's pretty good for Jaedong.
Oh yeah, he's definitely one of the best micro players in the entire world. Ooh, almost catching that probe already. Seems like the probe gonna go and try to find out where is this third base. Is he gonna check up there right away? It seems like it.
Yep. All right, yeah, so he's gonna scout that out immediately. Now, I mean, Jaehoon scouted the base there too, but that didn't work out either. What?
Double Hydralisk
on Earth. Okay.
I feel like I shouldn't move too much because then it will alert Snow.
Yeah, I feel like my legs are asleep right now, and if I move, there's going to be excruciating pain, except that it's pleasure with my brain. I just don't want to break this magical moment. Why do we have 2 Hydra Dens, Artosis?
Range and speed at the same time.
The madman.
Yeah, no, he is going for a kill 100%. He does not want to get into a longer game here. You know, again, it may be a little bit of a tell that he took that middle base.
Right.
But the probe is of the utmost importance.
Right. If Jaedong can block this, then you can only show up traditionally with 1 Hydra Den with 1 upgrade. So either you get the speed upgrade and they get there faster but they're not ranged, or you get the ranged upgrade where they don't get there that fast even though you can poke with them a little bit further. But this way you have both upgrades, and that's just so potent because the Protoss is not prepared for both.
Yeah, it is super powerful. Snow is getting +1 for his Corsairs right now.
Yeah.
So he's not 100% ready. He's adding another cannon though. He realizes that he doesn't know what it is. Okay, that kill, so important.
Because now,
so important.
We need, start building them. More cannons, man.
Yeah, and he needs more than 3.
Even cannons stop being incredibly, incredibly good because of the range upgrade and the amount of Hydras. Because, if you have a lot of Hydras, obviously Storm does pretty well against that. But, I mean, we're getting more and more Corsairs. We're getting a +1 for the Corsairs. And I don't know. It's going to be about that timing.
Let's see when he sees the first Hydra. This is so important. You notice he skips the Overlord. He's trying to see. Okay, he sees Hydras. He sees the speed upgrade.
And that's going to be huge.
Cannons.
So he sees speed, but there's no way to scout range, right? Until the Hydras actually get there. Now, as soon as the range upgrade finishes and the Hydras walk forward, all of a sudden Snow's going to get that sinking feeling in his stomach.
Oh my god, here we go. Jaydong going for the break right now. He has got to get through.
Oh, the Lings break through up top. That's huge. The Lings can get all the cannons. Lings kill the cannons so fast. The first one's down. The Hydras are going down to being in melee range of the Zealots. The Corsairs coming back to kill the Overlords, but there's more and more Hydras because they're so fast. They got speed and range, and the final cannon, will it go down? It's so close to going
my
down.
god.
The Hydras focused it down.
More cannons coming in as well right now. The probes have been pulled. It seems to me like he's going to hold. I think Jaydong is going to have to transition out of this.
Yeah, there's no more Zerglings and only a couple of Hydralisks, and now those +1 Corsairs are going to massacre the Overlord count.
Oh my god, more Hydras are on the way right now. Jaydong is not giving this up. Uh-oh, he can get a Dark Templar out now, and that makes this even more scary for Jaydong.
Yeah, the life of an Overlord is a bad one at this point. +1 Corsairs while you're getting harassed by Hydralisks, that's just bonus land for Snow. And so now for Jaydong, he's got to go for it. He's invested everything in this focused attack.
Yeah, is he going to be able to actually break through, though? 4 more cannons on the way. If he loses the Overlord, then a DT can shut down absolutely everything. Here he goes. He pushes forward, takes down a cannon.
This has got to be it, Artosis. He's being pushed back by these Zealots, and all the Zealots are there to do is just buy time. Diving forward, trying to take out a couple more cannons. Gets one. There's still 4 more up, though, and there's not enough Hydras here for Jaydong.
Yeah, this is getting real bad for Jaydong right now. He continues to pick off some of these. He's gotten rid of the Forge as well. But it feels to me like this is enough cannons that Jaydong is in some serious trouble.
There's already a Forge rebuilt in the main there, so Snow saw that coming. Jaydong wasted all that time taking the Forge down, and maybe he can kind of sneak down here and pick off 1 cannon at a time, but this is a build you want to go for the kill with, not take out 1 cannon at a time.
He hasn't added more drones as far as I can tell, so right now, okay, it looks like he has started to add some. He just started his layer up as well. So he's getting ready for a transition. And the thing is, he does need to. Snow has done a good enough job here.
Well, he's going to be hemorrhaging Overlords at this point. I mean, he's doing an okay job scouting around with the Hydras and maybe keeping that Overlord count higher than I thought it was. But this is definitely not the roadmap for Jaydong.
Yeah, I'm really afraid for Jaydong when Snow finally decides he can come out on the map. It's going to be a really tough thing to hold, right? You're going to be fighting against Legs, +1, High Templars with Psystorm.
And maybe even Dark Templars with Corsairs running into Sniper Overlords.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the same thing could absolutely happen as we saw in that last PvP. Jaydong could all of a sudden just have all of his drones disappear if he doesn't notice a DT that sneaks into his base.
No, it's a big, big deal. Of course, Jaydong is going to try to keep on top of those types of things, but we'll see if he's actually able to. More and more gateways on the way. High Templar's starting to come out. He wants to bank that energy, so he has the Psystorms.
Oh, that's a big pickoff, taking out one of the last few Corsairs. I think, was that the last one or next to last?
I believe that's all the Corsairs.
Okay, well, in general, you don't really rebuild those Corsairs, so that's a big scouting deficit for Snow.
You know, I think that is an important thing to mention. But at the same time, like, Snow's added so many gates. I think because he knows how weak Jaydong's economy was going into this, he is just going to mass up ground units and try to come out and win the game. Like, he wants to win on his first push.
So you don't think there's a Protoss third base in our forecast?
No. Like, the thing is, he could take it, but the amount of gateways that he's adding here and the hard position Jaydong's in, he knows that Jaydong needs to drone, and Jaydong's just on Hydras at the moment. So I feel like he wants to push out, take control of the map, and then how do you hold on to all your bases as Jaydong?
Especially because that base is a little bit weird to defend because of the strange SimCity in front, like you mentioned earlier. I mean, one thing's for sure, it's going to be very difficult for Jaydong to get another base out here. And I think even he knows that he's got to batten down the hatches and get ready for whatever Snow has in store, because it's going to be Storm, it's going to be tons of gateway units. It's just, it's looking rough for Jaydong, but if anyone can turn on the X Factor and stay alive, maybe win a game like this, it's JD.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely made a career out of winning games like that. But here we go. The move out is real. Snow is on the map. Let's see what he wants to do behind this. Is he going to add some more gates? Is he going to go into Robo for Observer? Because Lurkers are on the way, and that should be expected. Yeah, the Robo coming up, sending out a probe as well. So he's kind of doing a little bit of everything.
Yeah, now the lurkers are already out. Well, I say lurkers plural, but there's only one currently burrowed. Maybe it's stacked, I'm not sure. But okay, there's
Couple right
there's
there.
one under the Overlord. I didn't see it, it's too hard.
You
But
see that DT too.
yeah, the DT is very, very important because that makes the Overlords important, a really cool microcosm here. But the big thing is there's no detection for Protoss, so maybe storm through the lurkers, but probably not.
Well, you know, I think in this situation, because his robo is almost done, it might be good to just chill, keep building your army, and you know, save your Psystars for that right there.
That is so crazy good. All of those Hydras going to die in like 2-3 hits from these Zealots. They have to run away. I mean, I guess it does keep Snow from trying to bulldoze on in here. Even he rethought that. And so instead he is expanding behind this.
Yeah. So there goes up the Nexus in the bottom right. That could be a one that's a little bit hard to scout there for Jaedong, but really he's just trying to stay alive at the moment. Now with Scourge coming out, maybe this is just to hunt down some observers and whatnot. Obviously, you can get a bit of a scout as well.
Well, you saw the reproduction of Corsairs. So there's actually 2 more Corsairs that were built. It's kind of strange. I usually only see maybe 1, but most likely not that many. And it's going to be important for picking off Overlords, but also for scouting. So kind of cool to see that Jaedong's out there picking that up. Or maybe a stray shuttle if that's out there.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a great pickoff, no doubt. Look at this. Okay, sends those Corsairs back. If somehow Jaedong figures, oh, look at that hidden base. That's cute. That's like, that's the most LZ gamer base we've seen in ASL in a long time. That is like something you just won't scout in such a weird position.
Because you're going to be expanding north from the southern base for Protoss. And man, that is, wow, definitely a big brain base.
If Jaedong could just somehow send some lings to the bottom right, you know how big that would be to deny that base?
Jeez.
But as that base comes online, I get very afraid for Jaedong.
Well, I mean, this is the big moment. If he can hold his main natural third, whatever, and keep that base up, then, you know, the sky is the limit. But doing that is almost going to take a miracle.
It is so tough indeed. The Ling's coming out, looking around a little bit. I think he knows that there should be a third Nexus somewhere, and he knows it's not in that middle base.
Yeah, more importantly, just having these Lings out on the map makes it very difficult for the Protoss to just A-move across the map, because you might get counterattacked, you might lose vulnerable bases like that one.
Well, he's going to figure out that the base is down here, but unfortunately with Zealots chasing him, so getting a kill on the base does not seem very likely right now.
There's also this cadre of Hydralisks that are just out below the third. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but I'm guessing they'll eventually be morphed into lurkers.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the idea is right there. Jaedong is definitely macroing up heavily. He has his upgrades going.
Oh,
see
so
that Queen's Nest?
He might put the Hydras or lurkers on the ramp into those bottom 2 bases to pretend like there's a hatchery there in case like a Zealot pushes in or like is scouting.
Possibly.
I'm not sure exactly, but that would be where you put your Hydras if you want to defend a base that is there. Oh, he's hunting.
13 kill Dark Templar. Oh my god. I think it got a group of Lings.
Okay, I'm also thinking that as well, Artosis.
Because if it got drones, that like, yeah.
I'm not crazy.
We didn't
just miss every drone dying.
No,
okay.
no.
All right, we're saved.
I'm pretty sure there was like just maybe a group of Lings that he had out for a flank or whatever it was, and it went
Jaedong
down.
didn't get to morph the Hydras into lurkers to block the ramp for any longer. But even so, oh, now this, I'm not sure if that's totally a fake, but it certainly will not tip Snow off that there's an extra base down south.
Yeah, well, it's hard to guess on that for sure. Jaedong, he has his hive up now, going for the Defiler Mound. Like, you want, I guess on 4 bases, you definitely can go Defiler. Once he gets Plague out, obviously Dark Swarm consume everything. You get very powerful in the late game as Zerg. But, yeah, I don't know. It looks weird with the base that he has. Normally when you get into that Turtley Defiler play, you have like 4 bases with 2 fronts that you're guarding.
Well, one thing this might cause Snow to do is overreact to the importance of the 11 o'clock base, because now, thanks to that Zealot scouting, Snow knows that that's the location Jaedong has chosen for his 4th base, or what Snow thinks is his 4th base.
Yeah. It definitely does throw him off a little bit, right? Like, and again, the base that Jaedong took is the last one that you would scout on the map, because you really don't expect it. If you find it, it's dead. So it's a very risky base for Jaedong.
And it's already started to pay off. There are drones mining there right now.
Yeah.
And so this is sort of the tipping point. I thought Jaedong was going to get A-moved out of that huge gateway swell and lose the game. but that didn't happen. Snow is playing a little bit more timidly, and I think, like I said earlier, he's over-prioritizing what this 11 o'clock base means.
He is doing a little bit of a roam with these zealots, right? Huh. I don't know if he'll send them to the bottom left, but the bottom left isn't going to be broken too easily. Oh, God, look at this. This could be a big attack
Oh
over
my
on the
God,
top,
he
bottom
doesn't
right.
know the Nidus is down there at all. Guaranteed if he wants to attack this bottom right base, it dies instantly.
Right, there are quite a few zealots on this ramp, but he can break through there. He's got some pretty decent upgrades right now. A lot of cannons being made. Snow going to bring down the rest of his army, but I don't know if these zealots will buy enough time for that.
Well, Snow has no idea where this army came from. He doesn't know about the base or the Nidus. This is crazy right now. And if JD can kill this base fast enough and reposition on the ramp, there's no way that Snow can get in there.
Oh my God, great blocking with these probes. He's trying to keep it alive, but oh, the Adrenalink's gonna just plow through here.
Jaedong, really key move right here, but he hasn't killed the Nexus yet. I mean, I get Adrenalinks kill buildings instantly, but the Zealots are already here, and it looks like the Nexus will stay alive.
Yeah, that's a good save. That's a really important and good save, and maybe this can set him off that there's something down there, but it doesn't seem like he's not looking for it.
Yeah, I think he just thinks he got flanked and missed it.
Like, it ran in from some funny angle.
The observer was just out of range or something.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think
oh
that
no,
is
he's going to scout for this, right? Yeah, I think he just sent a unit. No, he missed it.
Oh, the observer
it'll
sees
see it. It'll see the creep.
And you know what's funny? Is that observer was not sent to scout that base.
Oh,
it just happened to.
It's sent to scout the what is that?
The other mineral base.
Yeah. Well, now
again, the last base you would scout.
Yeah,
so.
this base will feel Snow's wrath, but it's already mined quite a bit. If he could get the drones out through the Nidus, that would be the best case scenario.
Yeah.
But he wasn't able to do that. One thing Jaedong's not doing that I think almost all Zergs are doing now is just randomly getting Burrow, even if it's not necessarily for your build. It's just good to have. Obviously, you want that more against like Reaver play, but even there, it would have at least been annoying.
Certainly. Well, you know what? The base goes down, but Jaedong is setting up the bottom left. Looks like Jaedong going to try to come in here and catch what pieces of the army he
If
can.
he can get these High Templar, that would be gigantic. The Dark Swarm's already out. That means there's nothing short of Storm and maybe a few Zealots there, but they're only just now arriving. The Lurkers burrowing means that those Zealots are going to have a hard time.
Yeah, great Storm on those Lurkers, though. They were really clumped up, so the Zealots should be able to clean the rest of this up.
Well, he did wind up storming his own Zealots quite a bit, and yeah, Hydras outside of Dark Storm are not really going to be that effective either, so he's going to have to rely on Lings, but they have that Adrenal upgrade. They have 2-1, or 1-2, I believe.
Yeah, good upgrades, and obviously Adrenal is one of the biggest things that you can really get. Still pushing forward right now. Maybe he can knock down this expansion.
Oh, he loses one Defiler, but he still has one left. Archon's obviously very good at fighting underneath Dark Swarm, but if you can run this Protoss army over with Lings, then that's where you want to fight, but I think it looks like exactly the opposite of happening.
Yeah, he can't quite do it. It feels like that was a little bit premature. I don't know, maybe if he attacked like a minute or two later into a position like that, but I think he was trying to find a spot where Snow was spread out a little bit, and he was, but Snow still holds on. Snow has 4 bases, 4 gases. That's so scary.
It is scary, but while all that shenaniganry with the hidden base was going on, Jaedong did get up a natural expansion down in the bottom left-hand corner. So now Snow is moving up for retaliation mode. He's trying to move up the ramp and deal damage to this base without overcommitting and losing everything on the low ground.
Yeah, throwing down some Dark Swarms now. We'll see if that's enough to save this base. He's definitely taking a lot of damage up there. Don't forget his Evolution Chambers are there as well. Very, very important buildings right now.
Yeah, it's Swarm versus Storm right now, and it looks like the Storm is running out. Obviously, Archons are very difficult to deal with, but how many more Storms does Snow have? If he has maybe 1 or 2, this base is 100% dead, but if he doesn't, this Dark Swarm push actually could do quite a lot.
Yeah, Jaedong at this point just trying to kill this army off. It looks like he'll lose all the buildings. All you have to do is right-click here as Snow. He's got enough damage output. And this is kind of a funny battle.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Man, the Hydras definitely lose this one.
They sure do. And even cracklings coming up aren't going to be enough.
Yeah.
Which isn't a sentence you say that often. But, I mean, in the meantime, Jaedong did get other bases up. I just think that blow is really huge right in the heart, segmenting all these hatcheries.
And the Evolution Chambers, I mean, it's a rough thing. He doesn't get to finish his 2-3 upgrades, which were on the way for sure. Oof. Now he's losing this mineral base. Everything kind of going wrong for Jaedong right now.
Yeah, it all seems to be falling apart. If he can snipe all these High Templar, obviously that is a huge win, but they will storm through all of the Zerglings, and a Zerg without Zerglings is only an ENG.
Yes. And he is inging out of this tournament, unfortunately. You know, Jaedong tried for that double Hydralisk Den Hydra Bust. Snow was just, he held it too cleanly, you know, and he's playing just a beautiful, nearly flawless game after that.
I want to say if you have seconds more time left on that Southern Hidden Base, then you make it, but unfortunately, Jaedong will not. The Tyrant is usurped, and Snow will eventually advance on to the next round. You know, there's a... You know, Snow's most important match, I think, is beating Flash, eliminating him from a previous ASL. And while Flash versus Jaedong is pretty epic, I think Snow versus Flash, if that happens later on, will also be pretty epic. So
yeah,
don't be sad because Jaedong lost. Be happy because he played. That's my Tumblr advice for the day.
Yeah, no, it's a good quote. Like, Jaedong, he made it into ASL. He's still a fantastic player, but not fantastic enough to get out of this group here tonight.
Well, I think this does highlight that Snow is a fantastic player moving on. And so I think for Jaedong to lose, he did lose, I think, nobly, valiantly in that last game, pulling out some sneaky stuff that only Jaedong can truly do. But let's hear what Snow has to say about what it's like to take out Jaedong here at the very beginning of this tournament. So while we get him up there ready for his interview, you can ask Andy to nicely please translate that for us.
Pretty please.
That's right.
The Tyrant will fall once again, and Snow moves on to the round of 16.
장윤철 선수와 함께하겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
Congratulations.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
자, 최종전을 거쳐
In the final match, you get your win over Jaedong and move on to the round of 16.
어떠셨나요?
How was the match
일단
today?
시작하기 전에 제가 원래 제동이 형이랑
Before
대회에서
starting
되게 많이
the interview,
만났어요.
I've met JD lots of times in tournaments, and I lost to him many times. I was nervous before playing against him, but today my plays were quite good.
말씀하셨던 대로 약속하셨던 대로
Just like you said,
저그전 승률이
your
25%입니다.
PVC rate is below
자, 이재동
20%.
선수를 꺾고 이렇게
But
16강에
now today,
이제 좀
you beat
저그전에
JD,
대한 자신감을
and did you
가지셔도
gain
될것
confidence
같은데
in
어떠세요?
the matchup?
요즘에는
Recently,
테란전보다 저그전이 더
it feels like
할만하더라고요.
I have a better win rate against Zergs than Terrans.
16강에서도
And in the round of 16,
저그랑 하고 싶네요.
I want to play against a Zerg player.
사실 서문지훈 선수와 첫 경기 때 이 심리전에
In
좀
the
말리면서
first game
패배했을 때만
against
하더라도
Zealot,
정신적으로 좀 흔들리지
you know,
않을까
you've had a hard
걱정했는데 오히려 패자전 김재훈
But in
선수의
the losers
경기에서
bracket,
다크 템플러로 좀
you gained the win
보시더라고요.
over Jaehoon with the Dark
감소하셨나요?
Templars.
네, 솔직히 이번 시즌은
This season,
이번 시즌이 아니라
Not this
이번에
season.
준비할 때 되게 편하게
when I was
준비했어요.
preparing for
그래서
this season, I had a nice
원래라면
time.
이런 마인드를 가지면 안 되는데
And I'm
그냥
not supposed to
막히면 지지
have this
라고
mindset,
하고 했어요.
but you know, I
오포하니까
kept going for the all-in,
잘 된 것 같아요. 네.
and you know, things turned out alright today.
14강은 그런 마음으로 경기를 펼치셨다 하더라도 이제 16강에 진출하게 됐으니
In the
또
round
좀
of
마음가짐이
16,
달라지지
I guess
않나요?
you're gonna have a different mindset.
네, 이번에 해보니까 좀 될 대로 되라가 생각보다
Well,
성적이 더 잘 나오는
Well,
것
after
같더라고요.
today, you know, just opting for a purely aggressive
일단
build
생각 좀
worked out better,
해보겠습니다.
I think. So, you know, I think
자,
in the
16강
future I'm gonna use
진출형식에서도
more of those builds.
장윤철 선수가 어떤 조에 들어갈지 굉장히 기대가 되는데
people are very
저그전을 원하시고 계신 거죠?
Curious as to which group you're gonna go in the round of 16.
네, 저는 저그전 하고 싶어요.
Yes, for me, I want to go up against Zerg player.
저그전 승률이 몇 %까지 올라 있을지 굉장히
We'll
기대가
see
되네요.
how high your win rate against Zerg goes up.
자, 과연 장윤철 선수의 공략이 지켜질지
Let us
기대하겠습니다.
see
마지막으로
you in the
팬분들에게도
round of
한마디
16.
해주시죠.
일단
Any last words?
팬분들 너무 감사하고요.
Thank you
이번에
for
또
the fans.
연습 도와준 사람은 많아요. 제가
And,
델대로
you know,
준비했다 그래도
a lot of people help me.
아마추어의 봉실이랑 또
Scrims.
대한님, 또 경민이 형,
Just listing down everyone that helped me in
뭐
scrims.
영환이 형, 뭐 예훈이 형 되게 엄청 많이 도와줬는데 지금 생각이 다 잘 안 나네요.
No, I can't really remember all the names, but thank you.
높은
Mad props to them.
데로까지 올라가도록 하겠습니다.
And I'll try to make it
자, 오늘
further
다시
into the
한번 승리
tournament.
축하드립니다.
Once again, congratulations on
감사합니다.
your round of 16. Thank you.
자, 이렇게 해서 오늘의 두 번째 16강
All right, thank you, Andy.
진출자 장윤철 선수와
Snow
함께했습니다.
advances. I think everyone probably expected him to advance tonight. Sad though to see Jaedong go.
I
But
think
it makes way for Zella, right?
That's true. I think even though it's sad to see Jaedong play or go, and he is a superstar, maybe there's a lot to talk about Snow with him like eliminating Flash, being so good, beating his worst matchup historically against JD. The real story, I think, is Zealot, an amateur player advancing out of the initial rounds of a tournament. This is something that, like, I think in every previous year of Brood War would have been unimaginable. You know, There were a few years in between this era and the previous era of Brood War where a lot of amateur tournaments happened and maybe some amateur players broke through, but this is truly historic.
Yeah, it's actually an important moment. I think we were talking about this a little bit earlier in the season, how kind of all the practice is paying off for everyone right now, and all the people that have been putting in the real hard time since Remaster came out, and maybe even before that, they're starting to show it. We're seeing some of these players that have been up and coming for a long time. Look at Rush is making it through Saxtry, Zealot. Like, these are some newcomers, especially Zealot, that we're going to have to look at in the future as our new Gosus. These are players that maybe in the future are champions.
And there's absolutely a lot more of them to look for here, even in our next group and more groups coming forward. Solkey, Ample, Action, and Oregon. Wow, I don't know who to root for here. I think Solkey may be the clear favorite, but I think anything could happen.
It's a ridiculous group. We have a lot of different styles encompassed here as well. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait for that group. One of my favorites from this round.
It's going to be really good. Oregon is piano, by the way, if you can't tell your musical instruments apart. I remember in Season 1 when Oregon played, he was organ, and then he had closed bracket, like piano keys.
Yeah,
so I was like,
yeah.
Okay, my dude, you're really trying to make that meme work out. But he is probably more famously known as Piano, but you're right. I can't tell what's going to happen in that group. So many of the other groups, I just don't know.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the rest of ASL Artosis.
Oh, totally. As far as storylines go, it's one of our best seasons ever. I think that maybe some of the previous seasons with the Flash storylines, Flash Jadon going at it, those were really good too. But I look at this with the newcomers. We have like the new players that are winning all the tournaments, like Rain, Last, Solkey. You know, we have all the old Gosus in, you know, Flash and Jadong and Stork and Bess and all these guys, and then the complete newcomers that are actually really strong, like Zealot.
Strong enough to advance to the round of 16.
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy. I think if you saw an amateur tournament ever, or an amateur ever do this in tournament, it was either unheard of or they went on to become an incredible player. You look at guys like Mind, who Royal Roaded. He was an amateur that entered that tournament, and people were just like, how does he do it? What is happening here? And that was an anomaly, a very special moment, almost like this is for Zealot. And you know, I don't know if he gets through the round of 16. I think that's where we tell if he's like the actual real deal. But it sets up so many potentially amazing storylines. So if you thought the round of 24 was good, the round of 16 is going to be even better.
And the round of 24 is going to be even better too, because we are only 3 days into it, and we are, you know, we've got groups that are even better yet to come. Like that double Terran, double Zerg group on Tuesday is awesome. And then, you know, like the last group that we have for the round of 24, out of control, that group.
It is.
My God, who is even supposed to
and
get
then
out of that group?
watch something magical happen with the seeding, right, for the round of 16. When it comes down to it, like, you know, it's just going to be the craziest it's ever been. I mean, when Flash and Jadon got seeded into the same round of 16 group a couple seasons ago, I was like, okay, all right, we get it. Serendipity exists. Our synchronicity levels are high here in the ASL, so it's going to be good.
Who knows what's even going to happen in that group selection phase of the tournament. Like, the fact that Flash is back here, it, like, doesn't matter who won the ASL. Well, it does matter who won the ASL, but, like, at the same time, everyone will give him that type of crazy respect where it's like, oh, no, he's the best player in the tournament. Like, oh my God, like what group does he go into?
Well, when guys like Last won the last season of ASL, the big Terran daddy's got to step back in and be like, okay, all right, let me show you how it's done. If Last does make it up there and there's a chance for revenge, like, you know, he's smacking him down. That's going to do it for our show here today. Thank you all so much for watching ASL tonight. Hope to see you back for even more ASL in the next round.
You might be bulletproof, hard to move mountains when you're paralyzed, but you gotta try. And I'm tired.